Welcome back to Around the Mage Table. This is episode 37 of the podcast for the rest of us. And oh my God, that's a sight for sore eyes. Technique, is that you?
It is. It is. I'm so glad to be here, man. Thanks for having me back. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to have you back, bud. And
good to be home.
And I'm going to introduce the other two hosts that are not as important as you are, according to our viewers. Chanee, how are you doing today?
I'm super. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Actually, I'm not doing great, but I'll talk about that in a second. S.C.R.A.P, how are you doing?
Doing good.
All right.
Well,
wait a second. Do the viewers really think that they're not as important as me?
Yeah,
I would say
number one.
I would say it was alarming how many of them were worried about where you were. Yeah.
Oh.
One of them said they were ready to pull a January 6th type scenario to get you free.
At your house? Have they have your address?
I didn't tell them that I had you locked up, but they may have, correlated that. But anyways, Chanee, I'm not feeling that great today because last night Civ 7 released, and I am so tired because I was up till 3:30 in the morning playing.
Is that so?
I am exhausted. So let's get through this 1 hour episode, right?
Your computer can handle it though? Does your computer actually play the game?
Yeah,
Civ 7?
The game's not that intensive. It's just got the... Okay, so, I've gotten into this, new career mostly around UI. And can I just simply say that I have no idea how they decided that the people that were building this UI could build the most dog shit UI I've ever seen in my life. It was so bad. They even had to...
I hate shit like that. That really destroys the game for me. I can't play a game like that.
Well, and Civ is notorious to take a year to kind of build up, but of course that shouldn't be the case for 2K and a company that has made seven games of just that type alone and can't get it right, so I'm really blown away by it. But it is a great game, so my recommendation. Anyways, are you guys ready to talk about some news?
Yep, let's hear it.
Yeah.
I don't know any of it, so I'm excited.
I doubt that. All right, let's get straight into it. We are going to first talk about the trading post. So S.C.R.A.P, it is a new month, meaning new trading post. You are a correspondent. Anything out of the ordinary that we should be keeping an eye for other than this, what looks to be like a spaceship? What are those things in Star Wars called?
Oh, I don't know. You're asking me a Star Wars question?
The speeder, yeah.
Pod racing.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know much Star Wars.
I thought the little things like that, like the motorbike-esque things, were speeders, but I could be wrong.
Speeders. No, you're right.
This is a trading post that I'm saving coins on, which I desperately need to do because it's none of this really matches the vibe of my characters. I don't know. The firework thing is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we know you're very anti-China New Year, so we get it.
I don't have any pandering, so I don't know, it doesn't
that's
fit.
Exclusive. You have to be a panda to celebrate.
I know. I feel like these would look good on a panda. I already have that fox.
You think these would look good on a panda?
Oh, I'm not. Well, they won't look good on any of my characters. So I don't know. I'm saving. I think the broom is pretty cool. If you got a blood elf or something, that's pretty hype.
Where's
I don't know.
Broom?
It's at the top.
Is it? Oh, that's
right.
That's the
Broom,
speeder.
yeah.
The speeder. Okay.
Those hoods are pretty dope. If you go to the pink hood.
The Dr. Doom one?
Yeah, that looks pretty
Yeah,
sick.
I got characters with
it's just
snouts, so it
it's
doesn't.
like paint.
Hoods never look good.
Well, another thing that goes alongside this month's trading post is this is the 2-year anniversary of the trading post. So they are allowing players to purchase previous trading post rewards through extra vendors. They're also giving us, I think, an additional 500 tenders.
Where are those vendors? I need to look at what they got because there's definitely some stuff
here.
I ran out of gold for. Okay, Dornigal, got it.
They
So
are
check 'em out
standing
in
off to the
Dornigal.
side. I think right down here is where the catalyst is. So just off to the
Shit,
side.
I was really gonna save coins this month, but I got to see what they have.
Just
'Cause
look
there's
for the
some
they had
balloon.
actually they had quite a long list and it was discounted. It looked like things were like 70%.
Discounted. I'm logging on. I just.
That's
I need
why
to
you're
get.
a correspondent. Actually, here, maybe I have it here. Yeah, here it is. So
Whoa,
you can see
Thunderbird
some
thing.
stuff. What does it
Oh,
say?
it's too
Up
small,
to
I can't read
25 to
Oh, he looks
75%
so
discount.
angry.
Oh my god, I'm spending it all. I
Yeah.
mean, for these prices, you can't.
Look at
Not.
that moose.
I mean, I already have a lot of this good stuff, so.
Yeah.
Look at all the mounts. There's so many mounts.
What is that? That bear-looking thing. What is that? The Amani
Cleft hoof?
War Bear wannabe?
No, this is a
No,
cleft
it's a
hoof.
giant
cleft
cleft
hoof?
hoof. Yeah, I have that one. That's one of the
Can
sickest
you
mounts they put out.
control zoom in and make it bigger?
Well, for
old
some reason,
people?
this
Click
one's
on
not.
it.
Everyone else is a picture, but that one's not a picture. So,
Just picture a giant cleft hoof that you.
There
Oh,
you
there you
can do
go.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, you need that, dude. It's a good warrior mount.
I'm not a warrior anymore.
Fox.
whoa, hold
what
on.
Are, what
Is there
what
news
are you now?
flash?
Okay, news. Put up a news
Beep, beep, beep,
flash.
beep, beep, beep.
A Manor Lord's Hearthstone player. What is that mummy thing? Is that a pet?
Yeah,
it's a pet.
It's a returning.
So Technique.
What is
we were just given the breaking news before this also that S.C.R.A.P has officially started her Fire Mage. Season
No.
2.
Not really.
You just named it?
No, I made the Fire Mage, and then like I said, I got onto it. I was like, well, if I'm gonna level this, I need to get the transmog in order. I need to figure out what mount I'm cruising on, and I needed like a pet that like matched the fiery vibe I had, and so I looked on what's that pet website, the non-combat pets. I don't know, WoWnoncombatpets.com or something. I found a really cool fiery phoenix. It drops from Kael'thas, so I need to get that first, and then I will be starting my Fire Mage.
I say all this because there was someone who posted that the code in the PTR right now says that the patch will drop on February 25th.
Who said that?
Well,
someone on the internet.
It's in the code, is what they're saying. They're claiming.
You know why it's
I'm
on
floored
the 25th,
we didn't.
right?
Why?
It's my birthday.
Oh,
that'll be a good
dude.
birthday for you.
you old so and so.
Happy birthday.
You old
What do you-
so and so.
What are you turning 34, 35?
I know it's hard to believe, but I'll be a whopping 45 this year.
Damn, AARP, go for it.
Mhm.
Well, we will find a way to celebrate your birthday on that episode when it comes, Chanee. And maybe we got something to celebrate today, which you will be, I'm sure, more than happy to talk about. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But that means that the season will start on March 2nd, I think, right? March 2nd?
Oh shit! March 2nd. Shut the fuck up.
That's her birthday.
No. Just so I can say it. It's gonna start in March. I've been saying it again
Shawnee,
and again.
Shawnee, can you reveal
Here-
what I texted you right before we started?
So before we started, Frank DM'd me and it said, I'm sure when we talk about when the expansion, when the patch drops, compared to when the season starts, S.C.R.A.P will be move the goalpost and say,
Yeah.
oh, I'm right, because the season might start in March, but even though the patch will come out in February. She'll be like,
Well,
see, I told you all.
I think if it's February 25th, that's pretty. We can count that as March. It's 3 days shy.
All right, I'm
No.
looking for a new podcast
It's
member to
already
join
short
us. I'm
month.
tired of this shit. Okay.
March-ish. Can I readjust?
No,
Do they about March-ish?
You could have absolutely done that, except for the fact that every single time you popped into Discord, you would make it a point to bring up that your inside source, which by the way is just some guy James on our Discord,
James
was certain it would land in March. So
I had to talk with
James
him.
was your inside source this whole time? Good lord.
Look, I had to talk with him the other day. I
The
said,
same
James,
man that suicided in Stormwind.
No, in Thunderbluff.
Thunderbluff.
I had to talk with him this week. I said, James, level with me, buddy. I've been telling everybody it's happening in March. Do you know that? He said, no. So I mean, I just been hoping.
Well, you could still get lucky because we thought they'd announce the patch date this week, and they still haven't.
They haven't really fixed up that Mythic Plus yet, is what I've heard. They're still
No. I think
they're
Mythic
still
Plus.
testing it.
No, I mean they're still testing it, but that was scheduled. I think it's in a good shape. Granted, I haven't pushed like 12 keys, but then again, I'm not gonna really get a feel for. We're not the people to be really testing that, so I'm not gonna.
No.
Don't worry about that. Okay. In other news, I'm gonna juxtapose two stories here. So the first is, hey, Blizzard raised $2 million in support of your I can't Deshane, is that? Isn't that
Shane.
Throw in
I
awful
would
Johnny's
say
take
Canadian. What is
Yeah,
he
it's like a
saying?
fraction of the money they earned
100%.
from the fucking
Here we go.
auction house mount.
Whoa,
Wait, I don't know-
what a
I
great
don't know the
juxtaposition.
I don't know the
Technique. Thanks for-
story. Start
Oh,
it
so
over.
here it comes.
thanks
Straight up,
for-
yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
I didn't know.
So, S.C.R.A.P, this was you remember the Life of Iblin, that movie that
I
we
didn't
talked
watch it because I knew I
I
wouldn't be able
did.
to handle that shit.
That was
about?
amazing.
Oh, you did, Technique? I don't think you
I
watched it
did.
by the time did you watch it later?
Yeah, no, I watched it and I had comments for the show,
Oh, did you?
man.
Okay, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, we
Um,
didn't really talk about it. I just said it was like
We
it's
did talk about
touching,
it.
and I feel like I think at the time my comments were pretty sincere and serious. I was pretty much saying like it was a touching, show and or movie, and
If it-
this game and a lot of games like it have high importance for people that
Yeah.
need to escape their real life. I think it's I think it's good.
If that thing didn't make it crack a tear, you're You're dry.
I can't even think about it
You
without
must
cracking
really
a tear.
actually hate World of Warcraft.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, either way, it's awesome that they raised $2 million for the charity. But juxtaposition to that is Blizzard most likely, now granted this is purely on estimates based off like RaiderIO / Armory data, but most likely made $15 million with the single mount of the Traders Guilded Brutosaurus. I actually wasn't going to buy this, but someone got it for me for Christmas, so
nice.
I've indirectly contributed to this.
Out of all of us, who has it? Do you have it, Chanee?
I don't. No.
I do.
You have it,
I do not.
Oh,
Yeah.
just Frank? Wow, what a loser.
I did spend
I'm a tryhard.
50 fucking was it $50 or $60 for the stupid Hearthstone Zerg Queen set
He's so
that I played.
Hearthstone-pilled,
I
dude.
played like 10 games with, and then went back to fucking Battleground.
You are really on a Hearthstone kick, and
he's
it's
like
concerning.
Hearthstone.
So, yeah,
okay,
go ahead.
No.
I was just gonna say, like, if they made if they put this amount out and said all the money went to charity, they probably would have sold more. Like,
I don't know about that.
Are people upset about this?
They're just basically.
Who says they're upset about this?
Let's go back to his comment and say, Frank, would you have paid the money knowing the money went to charity for this mount?
I didn't pay the money, so
I'm asking you if you would have.
No problem.
Obviously, you wouldn't have. I might have, because I did want it. I just was like, I'm not paying that.
Either
kind
way,
of money
the
for
mount is a way more useful thing than just a pet.
Yeah.
And the pet is like what? It's like $12 Canadian compared to $120 for the mount.
Let me break something to you guys, okay?
What?
The only reason a giant corporation does any charity is to
way,
write it off for their taxes, and to make themselves look good.
Yeah.
So why are we is anybody getting upset?
But did the charity get $2 million? I mean, it's
the
still
charity
a good
got $2
thing.
million. I'm saying it's good that businesses are incentivized
Blizzard
to do charity.
needs a lot of work to look good to anyone, I think.
Yes, they do, but I don't know what people's complaints are. Is that like, oh my god, they should give $15 million to charity? I mean, you could say that about. I don't know what angle people are getting mad about it on.
The more angle was just like, look how much money they made off the map compared to how much.
Well, they got to make money to run the damn server.
They need to make my player housing, so
yeah.
Well,
it's a corporation.
Sell all the mounts they want.
They make money. I don't think that making money with an auction house mount is particularly skeevy. That's my opinion.
I didn't think it was at all.
Yeah, I don't know what people are angry about. So.
Well, people in general just have bad taste for anything that is like I and again, it's one thing to say I bought the game. It's another thing to say I bought the game and pay us up, right?
Yeah.
I personally I'm just like full. I don't care. Like, do whatever you want. It's your money and all that stuff. But I would draw the line at player power, and there is arguably some player power in this, because even just the mailbox alone, let alone of course the auction house.
I mean, we talked about that. Are people are just upset in general about the auction house mount? Like,
no, I mean, I think overall this was a slam dunk for Blizzard. Like, they made $15 million, of course, and they got away with what is arguably murder when it comes to in-game sales of like mounts. Granted, there are other games out there that charge $500 for some, like,
and I would argue player power to be very ultra minimal. I have a mailbox that I got for free, so
I think I don't have any problem with them doing something like this, because I don't see a huge value to player power, and it's awesome for me because if I'm in a Mythic Plus key, all 4 people have an auction house statistically. So it's like it's benefits me who didn't pay anything. And I don't want
to. We've already I don't want to rehash we've already covered that, right?
Already.
What I was going to ask is 2 things. One, $15 million can hire how many devs to build player housing? Because it sounds like player housing is like its own team now. So hopefully this goes to good use. That wasn't really a question. It was more of just a statement.
I'd say at least 15.
The second thing is there's no way Blizzard underpays severely. The second thing is that what do you think will be the next like step up in the arms race of how far can they take this without taking it too far? What do you think the next $150 mount is that Blizzard tries to take their stab at?
Oh, it won't even be a mount. It's going to be something to do with player housing.
Well, they have,
Maybe.
Chanee, I don't want to go and
I
spoil
know,
it, but they
I know you
have
don't wanna
talked
get
about
to
there
it.
will
Yeah.
be some
For sure.
real life, but they said minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They always say minimal.
well, I mean, I think arguably they like, you know, even looking at mounts, right? There's one mount in the shop for every 20 that they release in the game, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what, I use on a frequent basis that I would want in a mount, and I feel like auction house mailbox repair is transmog. It's like those are all kind of the only metrics
Yeah,
I
like
interact with.
maybe like your bank.
Oh, bank.
But
Yeah, bank would be
that'd be
good.
the but
Or
like even then we
portal.
have you have like the 2-hour warband bank thing.
Mhm.
You have some other things you can do for bank. So
If they had one that had like a portal where you could like go to Orgrimmar or something, but
Well,
I
then
mean, there's
mages
so
would
much.
lose their mind.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say there's so much shit in the game where you could there's cloaks
No,
that you can
there
portal
needs
to
to be a summon
Orgrimmar.
stone. I think we talked about this.
Oh, a summons. Yeah, you're right. I forgot we talked about that before. A fucking summon stone, dude.
yeah, then we could just never play with warlocks again, and everything would be
But the
better.
thing is that it's not that hard to fly anywhere in like 2 seconds, and
Yeah.
we all have portals to dungeons now. I mean, I have portals to so many fucking dungeons. I can get anywhere in the world in like 2 seconds. So I don't know. These don't really attract me much. I have a transmog mount, the Yak, and that's kind of like the only thing that I frequently use on my mount.
The Yak was expensive, wasn't it?
It was like 100K, but I have been
mean,
flush with gold in the
$10.
past.
Yeah, I use
So
the
I had it
have
with gold.
the poor man's yak or whatever, so I get the yak without the transmog.
Yeah, the
I gotta
repair
have the
one. That one's
transmog.
like 20K, I think.
Yeah,
No.
and that to me is my number 2 mount next to my rabbit.
Yeah, I
So-
mean the repair and transmog. I mean I use that all the time because it's like I need to repair because I die a lot, and I need a transmog because I actually look good. So that's all you need a mount.
All right. All right. Well, let's talk about another new feature from RaiderIO. We actually got a shout out last week, by the way, from RaiderIO on
Oh,
Twitter.
did
That was
we?
cool. Yeah, they watched
What
the
was that?
podcast.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So they have, this is their 8 days of 8th anniversary, and this was their final new feature, which is the heat maps for deaths in dungeons.
I love that.
I wanted to go
Oh.
through a little game, if you guys will allow me,
Yes.
where we look at
yeah.
each dungeon, and before we look, we guess where do you think the most deadly region of the dungeon is?
I'll tell you what. For City of Threads, it's that first fucking pull.
For the
All
first
right, so we'll start with
boss.
City of Threads.
Yeah, no, first pull, because
I don't
people
think the
always try
first
to
pull's-
overpull it and don't kick anything. In Pugs,
I
first
say
pull.
that
I
first
see it fall
boss
apart.
is a
Yeah.
first boss.
No,
Yes.
wait. First
Technique.
pull.
I know you
and
haven't done
third
these
boss.
in 16 years. Do you remember any of them?
City of Threads is which one?
The one that had the boss where you had to move because she would keep leaving big purple
It's the hard one technique.
spots.
The
That's
one you hate.
Oh, it's the one you got to kite around the room.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Mhm.
definitely. And then is that the same one where you got the dude with the oily spots on
Yeah,
the ground or
the big
whatever?
Yeah,
purple.
it's right before that.
That boss. I know where the Dawnbreaker one is. It's a fucking boat, man.
It's on the fucking boat, girl. It so is.
All right, well let's
Or the
see City of
surrounding
No, I
Threads.
know where the
ground.
Dawnbreaker one. It's under the bridge with that where people pull the Addon. Okay, I know.
And hold
Just
on,
give me that
we got to look at
fucking pull.
Yeah,
high levels
do like
or
8+ or something
10
at
to 12.
least.
The-
10
the-
to 12.
I
That-
can't-
10, 11.
I don't know where any of this is in the dungeon though.
Do
Like,
10,
at the
11,
map.
'cause that's like-
What is this? Like the podcast for the 12 and up club? Like all 8 of them? Or is
Look
this
at that,
the
Frank. Is
podcast
that
for
not
the
the
rest
first
of them?
pull right there?
Well, hold on.
Look, the
Just- okay,
fucking that's
No,
City of
this
Threads.
is the double pack. The
Zoom the heck in.
yeah, this is the double pack right
The
here.
heck?
Wow, this is actually surprising here though. That I
I'm
would think people would
surprised
take
that-
this way. But this pack right here seems to be the most deadly.
Really? The one
It's
with
the one that
poison?
has it's the one that has the herald that you need to interrupt 100%, and the swarm guard that has the dot that's very
Oh,
nasty.
I'm looking at it upside down. Hold on, scroll up. Where's that first pack?
This is the first pack, but this
Yeah.
this one seems
Yeah,
more
that's
deadly.
even worse. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's worse.
Hold on. We
Yeah.
gotta look to see if there's because I think you can.
Well, also a lot of groups don't they like pull that?
This one's pretty bad too.
Yeah. Yeesh.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Technique. You were saying?
I would say don't a lot of groups pull that whole first section and just take it in that spot where that third area. Not here. I'm talking the
Yeah.
beginning of the.
But look,
Like,
I
don't
mean,
a lot
from
of
up
groups
here,
take that? Yeah.
from this zoom, this is definitely the most deadly.
The
this one
first
right
bit
here.
of the dungeon, is
Yeah.
the most deadly, which
Yeah.
is what I
A lot
thought.
of people try to fucking big dick that whole first room, and
They do.
it's like
Well, this
Squash
isn't a big
dead,
dick pull though.
fuck,
This
reset
isn't
it.
one right here.
No,
This
that's
one
what
is.
you need to kick.
Don't people pull the whole like first room to that spot?
Not on a
No.
fucking 11.
No. They pull. They
Oh,
pull
okay.
this Royal Swarm Guard with these S.C.R.A.P Silk Binders. They skip this. This is again, it's deadly, but it's not nearly as deadly as this area is right here.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
All right,
Alright, pull
let's
up
move
another
on
one.
to
You said Dawnbreaker because it's definitely under the at the
Dawnbreaker?
house and
Oh, that's a good one. The house.
the house. Yeah. Where the mage orbs always pull, and under the bridge right before that, the boss
Chanee?
with
I'm
that
saying
mini-boss.
the boats. You're gonna see so many people dead because of the boats.
But I feel like the boats they fly around, right? So you
Well,
die
we'll
in
try to
different
judge
spots.
it. I haven't looked at it. Tech, what do you think?
Okay,
Oh my God.
I already said what I think, buddy.
Yeah,
the
Tech's
boat.
boats.
but
He's
the boat
team
moves
boat.
around, so there won't be like
I
a
know,
heat
but
map.
I think it should still be like that general
Why should it be
area.
a
It should
fucking circle?
It's just like,
All right, let's look
yeah,
at it.
yeah. That's why I like looking at the heat maps in hardcore. You'd see like in some places just the road would be a perfect line of death. So you know that something is rolling down there. Okay, what is that? Is that the house?
No, it's the one the one at the end.
That's one to the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I thought.
By miles.
And then there's
Look,
the.
but you're right, there
Okay,
is the
but
circle.
What
Oh,
is the
there's
fucking
a
circle?
We can't tell how much of it is the actual.
That's kind of cool to see. Like that. That is too funny. But yeah, that's what was my first thing.
But
Is
look,
under that bridge.
This pull right here, the first boat that you usually go to, is
Yeah.
deadly, but not so much this one, which is surprising. I guess maybe that's what that counts as.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, but
But
yeah.
100%
That
of
is
those
kind
are
of a
falling
strange
off.
one.
All right, what's next?
Necrotic
What are the
Wake.
other?
Necrotic Wake. Okay, what do you guys think?
First
I'm
boss.
saying no before the first boss because people screw up
Oh,
and
yeah.
pull extra
The-
Oh, the
stuff.
gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper.
Yeah, they pull the gatekeepers and stuff like just extra.
Oh, I want to pick
Third
that
boss's room.
big pack after the second spear where it has the two casters.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
between the first
Yeah.
and second boss. It's right after the two guys you got to kick. That spot is going to have it too.
All
To
right,
the right.
Yeah, to the right, not the
let's
left one.
look. Here we go. Load it up.
Where's the map?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Go
you're right. The first pull.
Hold on. Go
The
upstairs.
first pull's deadly. Oh yeah.
I'm
you're right.
surprised that
Go
That's the
upstairs.
one. Oh, that's the one.
Nerzuna?
There you go, boy.
Oh, there.
That's what I said.
So much death.
You die
That's-
everywhere.
That's people just pulling the whole room and
Well,
being like, "Oh."
this
It's also the
well,
boss.
No,
Well,
this
it's
is
also the
unfair because
boss.
if you
Yeah.
die at any point in the multi pulls here, you know
Yeah.
this counts. So that's just
I
like a
said
given.
third.
I love
third
seeing the
boss room.
outliers. People dying in the corners. That's so funny to
This
me.
right here,
Trying to
I'm
get
willing to bet
away.
this right here is when you're on the last boss and you go down.
Yeah, on the
and
ledge.
This is when people die.
You're
there.
so right. These are so fun. I love
Yeah.
these.
So great.
I love
All
seeing them in hardcore.
Next, let's do Arakar. Where do you think Arakar sits?
Okay, let me think.
Last boss for sure. People
Yeah.
dying by not getting in the puddles.
Yep.
And
Last boss. Oh, and
um,
before the second midi boss at the first spot that does the call the brood.
Yep.
oh,
Yeah.
when you get across the bridge, not the first pull across the bridge, but the second where there's
Yeah,
a
that's one
couple of
Scrap's on there.
alarms.
That,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
no, that's not the one I'm talking about. But
The one
I
that
agree with
Call
you,
the Brood.
Shawnee.
That's the one that calls the Brood.
No, he's talking about after the first boss.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's. I mean,
Okay,
this
let's
this
see.
is where right here is where
I was thinking,
Go
yeah.
upstairs or downstairs.
Well, this one right
But
here
that
though.
big
I know.
Red-
I know what you're talking about, Shiny.
But
When
the
you cross
yeah.
that bridge and
Well, I'm
Yeah.
surprised that is
That-
so.
This is
No,
the number
that's
one here.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's the biggest
yeah.
pull, right? That's where everyone tries to pull like everything.
Yeah.
the whole start of the
Yeah.
I'm
dungeon.
surprised
yeah.
that one
But
is
more than the first boss
More than the-
and that mini boss that does a super AoE combined.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
I'm thinking a lot of people are just like, this is a 10, right? So you got a lot of people trying to
This
like
right here.
really.
This right here
Everybody
is
goes
the
left.
most donkey route I've ever. Like, why?
I know. That should just show you. Go down the middle. Don't fucking take the donkey
It might be a little
route.
slower, but Arakar is such a freebie.
You have so much time. Why the fuck are you messing around? I mean, I will say I play with a lot of tanks who do that left route because on paper it looks great, but it just can be such a mess.
Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Look at
That's where
that.
donkeys
I
It's
go
never,
to
bridge
die.
I
in
never
the
went
middle.
to side routes. That's stupid.
No.
I
to me.
wouldn't have picked to die at the top of the steps, though.
No, I'm surprised.
Like
I'm willing to
there.
bet it's
Well,
because the
'cause you get those
drones and the
patrols,
carriers just
yeah,
keep like hammering everyone.
I'm shocked that area is worse than the boss fight. How is
Yeah,
that
the boss
Yeah,
possible?
fight
the boss
looks
is
great.
nothing.
We always suck and die on that boss. Are we bad?
Not really.
Maybe
Can we
no.
we're
zoom
the
in? Is it like
donkeys.
all covered by the boss
I
image?
bet this is one of those things where, like, if first off, people probably don't make it here on the 10+ keys because they've already rage quit by this point.
Well, that's what I was gonna say about the first pulls. That's why that one has such a high heat map, because people go in being like, "Oh, our card will be free," and then some tank pulls everything, and they're just so mad they leave immediately.
Well, no, because then it wouldn't have deaths. I'm willing to bet what it is they keep running back in and dying.
Oh, running back. That's a good point. Running back in and dying. Yeah.
All right,
I have a visitor.
Oh, Grimbatol, the whole.
Came to visit.
Oh, Bobbert! Oh, he's so cute.
Dude, that is the most lifelike mount I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, he is so cute.
He is the cutest. Sorry.
All right, Bobbert, what's Grimbatol's?
I don't honestly know. I feel like the whole fucking dungeon.
Right after the second boss
the
room.
First or no, I'm saying the first or second pull there.
Okay.
Like that double pull after the first pull.
Well, you died there a lot, but if I agree with Frank, I think, yeah.
Or right before the second, is it right before the second or third boss where there's like the two dudes together?
Oh, yeah.
Before the third
and we're always like, we gotta focus one.
Literally between the second and third boss is where I would put it. Like that whole area between the second and third one.
First mega pull.
First pull, yeah.
But this one
dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised at that.
Wait,
that's no, I see. Yeah. Oh yeah, that one's right before the boss. Oh,
so the first mega, this is one people usually hero, right? And again, it is deadly as
we've wiped there.
Well, because the tank will walk in and get like immediately deleted, right?
Yeah, and then you miss the kick, and then people aren't line of sighting. It's just a big mess.
Yeah, this one right here, the first pull is the line of sighting problem.
That
and then this
other
one right
big
here,
red pull, that's the one I was thinking.
Yeah,
right
me
after the
too.
second boss, where everybody double pulls, and there's so much shit going on. There's curses going out. You're like, fuck, I didn't bring a decurse. Like, why am I such a donkey? Like, or I brought a decurse and they don't know where the button is. What the fuck is going on?
You didn't tell them to use it. That's why.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the two had the two corruptors at the end.
What the fuck's my decurse button? I didn't know I could do that.
All right, mists.
First boss, maybe?
Oh no, the first big pull there, I would say, gets people.
It's probably that I would say maybe the last boss, but
first
bosses really haven't been that bad in this.
I mean, shouldn't be anywhere in there, but I would say
have any deaths in this.
The first big pull, I find people can get caught up on.
Shouldn't have any deaths.
Shouldn't have any deaths in Mist.
It's a heat map. It's just gonna be hot based on where they all are.
I think last boss.
Right,
yeah.
Let's take a look.
Last boss.
I agree. Last boss too, but the first big pull.
Oh, okay. It's definitely the first pull is the highest.
That's the first pull.
But look, this is going to be dispersed across the maze, so that doesn't.
Yeah, like the double. That's the double pull there.
Yeah.
That's that double pull. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever fucking died there.
Wow. So this just goes to show, just get these two pulls right, and you'll probably be in good shape with mists.
I'm gonna throw James under a proverbial bus. He, your insider James, actually died on that double pull with us the other day.
Cringe.
Well, because he's the insider.
I don't think he's not my insider. We'll see. We'll see if it comes out
funny. Like it made me laugh a bit. Was he just laid there dead for a while as we were in the middle of like fighting through it?
I will say I may have slipped off the edge there.
And he was just like, I thought you were gonna res me. I'm like, the run back is like right there.
Yeah, it's right there. Chill.
I know.
All right,
like,
Siege.
Where
the snipers are right before the third boss.
Yeah, for sure.
Anywhere there's
or both sniper pulls.
Actually, on a 10+, when right after the second boss, when you turn that corner and start going to where the big guys like will do that mad AoE, dude, people don't line of sight that and get killed all the time. So
yeah, actually, you're right. Those gun spray areas.
I would even say, after the first big pull where we hero, like we go up the stairs.
Okay,
I think
before the first boss is kind of a mess sometimes. People are butt pulling and
right before the first boss, not the 2-packs, but like when the stage is up there to the right and stuff.
Yeah.
I've pulled that fucking guy a couple times.
All right, let's see. Show me. Siege.
This is so fun.
This is.
You're so right. It's right there.
You get through those first two areas. Yeah.
Is this the boss? No, that's not the boss. What is?
No, that's right where Chanee was saying.
Okay, well, this is the second pull, and it's the most deadly for sure.
No, but that one is where you butt pull as the other one.
Yeah,
these snipers are bad, but not nearly as bad. Really, this
bad.
poll doesn't seem that
Well,
challenging to me.
I think it returns again to it being the beginning of the dungeon. Like, you got run back deaths. You got people that don't make it to the end of the dungeon,
and people rage quit it, and then it just
yeah.
that's the only deaths you get the whole dungeon. Yeah,
This
I think
is
it's all.
definitely pretty
I
bad.
think they should only count completed dungeons. Is there a drop down for completed dungeons?
That would be
great.
We should hey RaiderIO guy, if you're watching, put one of that in there. Completed dungeons only tab.
Wait, it says any amount of deaths. What is it? What's the drop down options for that?
We can limit it.
Just a number.
Start at 50 deaths.
Yeah.
Where do players where do groups that have 50 deaths die the most? That's cruel and unusual that you can look at that.
All right. We have, I think, one more
Stone
Vault.
Stone Vault.
Oh. Fuck.
The first poll by miles.
Yeah, the
first poll, and then maybe the Earth Totems.
No, it's the poll before the Earth Totems. The one that has the 2 chargers, because everyone always stops looking at them in that poll.
I always wipe on S.C.R.A.P, so I don't know.
Well, again, bosses don't seem to be the problem. It's always trash.
Yeah, that first poll is going to have it by a mile, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious on this next one. After we talk about it and see, I want you to drop the any amount to like 10 and fewer.
This, I mean,
I'm surprised those last polls are so weighted.
This one right here is so bad.
I know it's so bad, but it's at the end of the
mind. You have like on the way to the Earthbound Crucible, you have the kiting polls at a lot of tanks, just like don't kite.
Yeah.
On the bigger, so.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be pretty equal. Although this is pretty bad
surprised me.
I'm surprised. Yeah. Wow.
Frank, do me a favor. Drop the any amount of deaths down to like 10 and fewer.
10 and fewer.
0 to 10. So, like, people who presumably clear the key, where did they die? Is it the same?
It's about the same.
Yeah, roughly the same. Interesting.
A little more.
It changed.
There's another heat one up there, up at the top center.
Well, yeah, this is about this. I mean, the colors are practically the same.
Yeah.
Just like more refined, to where people weren't dying like
That's
in this
so
area
cool.
of the map over here.
That's cool.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to die in really weird spots.
So here's the thing, though. We didn't have this going into the season, and we'd have it now. Season 2, we're gonna have this fresh off the cuff to know exactly. Well, none of us. Well, technically Tanks, but he says he's not playing.
I know exactly where it's gonna be in Theater Pain. It's gonna be where those tornadoes knock you off the platform.
No, it's gonna be the first pull by miles.
The first pull, no, but I think that whole tornado section.
Two things will happen. One, they'll do the mega pull, which is by far the hardest pull because you pull that really bad trash pack into the boss.
Yeah,
but they'll pull that trash pack into the boss, which the boss is redesigned and is supposed to be harder now. So they'll fuck up bad. RaiderIO, thank you very much for an amazing feature. I hope they are more to come. We really appreciate it. Enough to get my Patreon subscription. Okay.
Not mine.
How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great. I'm just going to show you some cool things. Not cool things, actually. I'm kind of confused as to what they are that are coming in the next patch.
Scrap
digging.
That's me.
Yep, that's you. So I don't know what your abbreviation stands for, but this is going to be a new, I'm going to call it mini game in the next patch, where you just dig for garbage. And
it's like archaeology.
No, I think you just like have to defend it for a certain amount of time.
That's fine. That'd be something to do.
And I mean, it'll give Valor Stone. I don't know how much it'll give. Actually, maybe they tell us here. No, it just says general Valor Stone. But every patch they have this kind of like, gimmicky, really fun thing. Now, granted, I should note that they're giving us drive. They're giving us, a great new renown system, and of course the raid and a new dungeon. But this is supposed to be that like, what was the snuffling in the caverns and
you know what? I did not fuck with that at all. I did like the tutorial and then I was like, I'll never do that again.
Well, did you do like the Emerald where you had to like help that big guy walk around in Major Cell?
Not at all. I tend to not do patch shit.
Yeah.
I feel like
part of me is like, well, that's okay because like I too very rarely do it, and I'll only do it if it's like really fun, which again is very rarely fun. But like a lot of people were interested in like the Time Ways one. Excuse me, when Dawn of the Infinite came out, they had like that you could take a portal and like see.
Oh, I mean, I did that a couple times, but it wasn't particularly fun. It was just like a world quest type thing.
This one just, again, kind of seems phoned in. But
look, I only do this shit if it's got tied to player power,
Yep.
is fun, or has a good title or mount or something that I like want. Like if this has the title Scrappy, I gotta have to get it.
Oh, of course
you know, what's
yeah.
the title?
Yeah, at
that it
least-
gives you?
I don't think there's a. I don't
least
think
give
there's
that.
a. There's a
then fuck
personalized
this.
Scrapper.
No, is there a title? There's no title.
No title.
There's
for
no
this
Scrappy. Come on, I use Scrappy Scrap Claw.
One. All right, put it. Go in the PTR and put in the bug right now.
Yeah, I will not. I will not be doing this, despite my namesake. Probably.
What if you get a title that says like Trashy Scrap Claw?
I could do that. I mean, I have a lot. I have so many fucking titles that I like. I'm not like really jonesing for titles. Like.
But
There
you
are some really
just
good
said you
titles.
were.
Titles are broke
No,
anyway,
unless
so it
it's
annoys me.
it's good. Like unless it's something that fits. Like what the second in that one
Like
fucking
Trashy.
Forgotten Isles, they had dropped this title, The Keymaster. Brother, you know I gotta get that. Like so, I got that one. But I don't know. I'm not that into titles. I guess unless it's like redundant and funny.
I only
Scrappy
want
Scrap
titles
Claw.
if like nobody else can get it but me, and like you
Well-
know a handful of other cool people.
Titles are still broke anyway, so
What's broke about them?
Once they get the war zone or whatever, they like.
Warband?
Yeah.
yeah, you put it on and it's gone. Like it just takes itself off constantly. Like every time you log back in.
That's why you'll see it like tell you have a whole bunch of new titles whenever you log in randomly.
Oh, I don't think that's ever happened to me. I don't know.
No, you don't have any titles. That's why.
Well, maybe I just don't have ones that are bugged. Like I just have.
No,
No.
all of them are. Like it will like I'll put on my title and it's just like, no, you didn't do that.
Interesting. Well, they should fix that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They should fix that, and they should also add more screens to the Warfront.
They definitely need to do that. In fact, bump that to the top.
All
It
right,
won't
another
take a whole
little
week.
mini thing coming in is this idea of a Goblin Fight Club. Okay.
Oh my God, Brawlers Guild?
No, that's the thing,
No!
Scrap. I can't understand what this is supposed to be for. Okay.
What is
So
it?
I'm just gonna read it, and I'm gonna hope you
read
guys
it.
can explain to me what is going on. Okay.
A low blow. That's so.
We
funny.
shouldn't talk about Fight Club, but in Undermine, players can use custom combat stances and health points to act out brawls with each other. Located in one of Undermine's many sewer systems is a fight club known as the Low Blow, filled with rowdy spectators, bloody floor stains, and a suspiciously empty center stage. That's because the main attraction isn't NPCs, it's you. Okay, so picture. Upon talking to the amenities vendor, you can purchase a slew of guides that allow you to take up combat stances without targets, play out injuries, and display a cosmetic health pool above your head. Okay, so here's what that looks like. You can get like armed combat, magical combat, unarmed combat, grappling, whatever.
Is this just
and
like rock paper scissors or something?
No,
like,
I don't even think there's like a game element to this, right?
It's just an
So-
RP thing for RP people.
Yes, that's what it
Okay.
seems to be. So Blower showcases the animations
Well-
that each of them items give. These last for 15 minutes with no cooldown, but they're only usable within the Low Blow. That's the key part I want to call out.
Oh,
okay?
that's not even good for RP.
So,
then.
here's your health thing, there's your stun, here's your combat stances, here's your knockdown and play dead, right? The Low Blow can be found here, et cetera, et cetera. These items will be a great boon for role players looking to use player animations outside of the confines of combat, especially if their location restriction was removed, which is obviously a big part of that. Hopefully they can be used outside the Low Blow in the future. So, I understand the idea of wanting to be able to do combat stances, but there's an add-on for that. Narcissist allows you to do all the poses you possibly could want.
Yeah, but not in the game. You gotta.
Well, sure,
just-
but
Only
like
you can see it. Yeah.
sure, but okay, fair enough.
It
But
seems like a really strange way to invest. I don't know, $15 million worth of mount money.
They put all the mount money into this. They're fucking. They're
Look.
laundering it.
viewers,
I don't.
someone please explain to me what the appeal is here.
I'm sure that's got some niche
I
RP
totally
appeal.
understand it if you could use it outside of the
Yeah,
and it's
it's
PTR, maybe it
outside.
comes down the road, right? Like, oh, they just forgot to switch a button on, right?
Mhm.
But like if I wanted to do that, I get it, but why would I only want to do it in a underground little hovel of like the Low Blow?
Yeah,
No,
somebody
no one else is
inform
going to be
us.
there.
Who asked for this?
I don't understand this, and I want. The only reason I bring it up on the podcast
Does
is I just want someone to
Garen work
explain to
here
me.
now?
No, this is a very Garen thing, though. You're right. All right,
It's
someone
weird.
please explain to me what's going on here. I
Also,
don't
why
get
you fucking make a fight club? I thought it was Brawlers Guild back. You really disappointing me on this
it.
one,
Yeah,
man.
well, you can imagine how a lot of other players feel then, right?
Breaks my damn heart. I want to see more Brawlers Guild.
Yeah.
Who runs the
Okay.
company anymore? Who's making these choices?
Yeah, where's the money
Holly
going?
Longdale,
Follow
I
the
guess?
money.
Portugage. That explains it. Oh,
Well,
Portugage.
that's a guide writer for Wowhead. I don't know why you're coming after them.
He's coming after him. Get him.
Sorry, Porter Gage.
Portuguese.
Wait,
Gage.
let's say Canadian.
Portuguese.
Is that French?
Where
No, Porter Gage.
Okay.
Porter Gage. It's
Porter
like,
Gage.
It's a DJ name. It's
It's
like
too
a
small
name.
for me to read.
Now
I'll be
we're
right
talking
back.
about their name. This is how bad this.
All right, get
Goblin
that
Fight Club should
guy.
be. Okay, let's talk quickly. PTR season 2 stuff. More nerfs to the dungeon. I'm not going to worry about Operation Floodgate. I'm not going to worry about well, that's just about that because we haven't really seen it, but they seem to be nerfing some more. This is why I was saying, S.C.R.A.P, I think the dungeons are getting to a point where they're in a good shape. I'm not going to drill down too much on it other than I didn't see, like, they updated some visuals. I didn't see anything that looked like a huge concern out of the bosses that I was worried about. So again, like address visuals on Theater Pain, the front to challengers. So this was, I think, this isn't the arena fight, right? Because there wasn't Noxious Spores denial, was there?
I don't even know what that is.
This might be the first boss, maybe. This might be the first boss. And then because they redesigned it, and
a front of challengers, that sounds like the first boss.
Yeah. And then Kolthorok, is that the Lich?
Yeah, they completely redesigned that fight, right? Am I right?
Well, yeah, they made it so that the mobs didn't run around like crazy. Remember, now they run into the
boss.
I
thought there was more redesigns they did because that fight was like the dullest fight, and I thought they addressed that.
It wasn't a dull fight for healers.
Well, who plays a healer anyway? They're really not in the key queue.
Well,
they've dropped it to 2 instead of 3 players, which is a huge nerf, and it looks like they've reduced the lost soul health by 33%. And it of course reduced, I don't know what the size difference is, but they reduced the size of Well Darkness. So again, nerfs going out to Theater Pain, nerfs going out to Motherload. I haven't seen them really buff anything, and they've already made the season curve. What do you think? Is this an overcorrection, do you think?
I can't even say because I have no, frame of reference.
Yeah, but S.C.R.A.P, you have frame of reference where they're like the tuning knob goes back and forth, not all down.
So it doesn't really matter to me so much. I think I've said this in the past, but like I'm gonna hit a point where it's too hard for me, and that's where I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if that's a 15 or a 25 or a 9. Like, as long as I can get 1 key higher than all my dumb friends, I'm good. I don't care what level that's at. That's just me.
Chanee, you're dumb.
Yeah, well,
Technique's laughing.
I
just gotta get a dumb healer to take me to everything, I guess.
I had Phoenix, who, for those who haven't followed the story of S.C.R.A.P and her IO, Phoenix was messaging last night saying, "Hey, do you want to do some dungeons together? What are you doing?" I'm like, trying to push 13s. And he's like, "Well, you want a healer?" And I go, "No, I'm not allowed to." And he goes, "What?" And I go, "S.C.R.A.P is a scab, and I'm not gonna fucking play the same game."
No, I don't care if you play with
I know
Phoenix.
you don't. I care. I care.
Oh, you care because you've been talking shit about me.
I'm doing this 100% with no outside influence of help.
Phoenix dude. I've done a lot of 13s with Phoenix.
Yeah, we know. We know. Believe me, RaiderIO.
What do you mean
is
no outside help? Are you
screen.
pugging or not? Like,
well, yeah, but I'm not getting outside help that I know is helpful.
Is Pugs Phoenix good or something?
Well,
am I missing something?
He's our highest IO player in the guild.
Well, yeah, but when you guys talk about it, you're like, "Oh, Phoenix can't heal," blah blah blah.
No, okay, sorry. A little caveat here. Phoenix can heal. I'm not going to take that away from him, but
yeah, you're just bitter.
Last week we looked at WoW Op, right? The add-on.
Oh yeah.
Phoenix scores when it comes to damage as a healer in like the 95th
so high.
percentile.
Yeah, he loves.
I've not seen a single healer in all of my pugging get even close.
So he's a go-getter,
right? He is continuing to want to just DPS as a healer, and that is why I am vehemently, and then again, nothing against Phoenix, he's a great healer, but I'm vehemently against that mindset.
Dude, I'm not saying it's not like Phoenix is automatic. You have any idea how many 12s and 13s Phoenix and I have?
You gotta be DPSing if you're in a 13. Bro.
I do have an idea. I look at your RaiderIO every night before I go to bed.
You can't because you can't see the ones I haven't completed, man, and it's in the hundreds.
Yes, you can.
You can? No, that I haven't completed, just like attempts.
Oh, you didn't finish. Okay, I get it.
Brother, it's 3 times as many keys as I've done, I swear.
My brother in Christ, what are you trying to tell me? Are you trying to tell me that I should take him because it will only tank me?
No, I'm just saying you're acting like, oh, I don't need any outside help. I don't need the training wheels. Like, dude, it's hard even with a healer who's good. It's fucking hard out there,
It's not about the healing and whether he's good or not. It's about the ticket you get in. That's why you play
Oh,
with
the
him.
ticket
Is the
in.
ticket in?
Well, yeah. Well, yeah, and he's
Do
a
you
good
know how
healer
hard
too.
it is? I'm down to I'm down to 4 13s I need. It's like City of Threads, Grim, Siege.
Are you trying to do
which-
all 13s?
Yeah, why not? And then Necrotic Wake. And there's
Yeah.
no keys. They're all 12s, and there's no keys. I'm like literally just now. I'm not even doing dungeons anymore. I'm just sitting in the LFG, just
Yeah.
hoping someone has a 13 siege.
Do
Which,
your
by
There's
the
own,
only
way,
dude.
7 other people that play this season.
Yeah,
still, right?
hold on. All of us have 13 keys in our vaults because we did like me and Lithian and Io and I don't even know who else, but a bunch of people have them. Why don't you ask around? in the
because I
community?
can't help boost your IO.
No, Lithian has one though.
Yeah.
I think he has a 13 siege.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, I have to do it with pugs.
You know, I would talk mad shit against Lithian.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, Lithian and I, as Chanee
Yeah.
would say, we want to kiss each other all the time.
Yeah, so much kissing.
Lithian doesn't watch the podcast. I could drag him through the dirt, but
Yeah,
I'm
go
not
on
going
then.
to because
Yeah, I think
he's
he
upset with me right now. He's upset with me right now because I've been trying to
What'd
push
you
and
do,
I've been.
You've
Well,
been avoiding us. It's hurt
haven't been
all of our
avoiding you.
feelings, actually.
Well,
Yeah, we've
I
been
would love
in
for you to
Discord.
ask.
We're like, "Where's Frank? We
And I
love
got in
him.
when
We
you asked
miss
me where I
him."
was. I got in. It's just when Lithian asked me, I don't get it.
I would love for you to have to grovel for Lithian for his 13 siege because
Absolutely
I
not.
think he
Absolutely
has
not.
one.
I will uninstall and unsub before I grovel to
You would let
Lithian.
me run away with the IO race just because you want to grovel to Lithian?
You're not running
That's
away
the-
with it, Scrap.
That's the difference between you and me, dude.
You're not running away with it, Scrap.
I will, but it's I have till March.
Yeah, you have.
No,
Don't just call
I'm so
Phoenix.
done. I'm so over it.
Okay.
I've been doing that fucking mage tower of all things. Like I'm
Enough-
done.
Enough of our rant. Get your fucking fire mage leveled up.
I gotta
Okay.
work on that.
Other things in the PTR, more class tuning. Drive, more things. Drive, fun fact, new feature added to Drive. If you hit a wall, you bounce off of it. That's cool.
Fun. Love it.
Love
Can you
it.
bounce on other players? They gotta add that like Mario Kart.
I don't think so because I
Add
don't.
it.
Yeah, I mean you don't bounce mounts into each other.
That's true, but
Unholy,
bounce
getting some more buffs. Demon Hunter.
Nice.
I'm not even sure because it's just like I guess reworking how things work.
Mhm.
But this is a nerf to Felsguard, which I heard
Skip
was
to the good stuff at the bottom in the W section.
What Warlocks?
Yeah, them. Just
All right, let's
scroll
keep
down a
going.
little bit more than just Warlock.
Survival
Flame damage.
buff.
I want to see the bottom of the
Was
Warlock
it? Yeah, there was
section.
survival buffs. What we can't. We gotta cover
pretty
everything for
light.
everyone. Augmentation, upheaval. Who cares about that?
Nobody plays that.
Devastation definitely needs some buffs because more people need to play
Nobody's playing
Devastation.
Dev, yeah.
I actually played with a really, really good Devastation Evoker.
Yeah, they're not doing bad.
And a
They're
siege,
just,
and God, how many sieges I've run this weekend?
your Siege 13 that you there's none exists. I feel like you're just whiffing them all.
They exist. They just take like 3 hours to populate, and then I get into them. No, I've actually been playing really well according to WoW Up. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Not
according to the damage meter when I rolled with you last week.
That's
but...
true. Yeah, you'll love me. More buffs for hunters, of course, because they always need them, right?
Our 4 set is not very hype. I mean,
Well-
I haven't checked if they've adjusted it, so they might be balancing, giving us buffs to balance out.
Arcane's guide writer Porum wrote a I always read the state of the spec whenever WoW had posted from the guide writer,
Sure.
and almost all of them are always like, hey, there's some problems, there's some good, there's some bad. Porum, the Arcane Mage writer, just absolutely eviscerated Blizzard in there. They're like, this is
He's upset?
so upset, right? I get what he's saying because Blizzard, when they started this patch PTR, they said like, hey, we want Arcane to not have to worry about tracking so many modifiers. And so they, back in the beta, they took out the double dipping factor, which was like a slam dunk. Everyone loved it. But they thought that double dipping was too hard for new players to understand. So what they did instead is they took it out and then started making all these more modifiers to what makes Arcane Barrage do more damage.
Yeah.
And over the past 2 weeks, all they've done is just buffed Arcane Barrage by I think a total of 30%, which is insane. So I think they're like, well, we need to make Arcane really strong, but we don't want to make any more modifiers. So we'll just make it so that they always want to hit Arcane Barrage.
Yeah, they're trying to
hope this is
simplify
great.
it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, the problem is the tuning knob's going to break when they make Arcane Barrage do already 30% more damage. Like, that's our number one spell damager. So that's a huge deal. I'm hoping it works out well for us. We'll see.
We'll see.
Fire, sorry.
I was just gonna say, Lithian has a 13 Siege of Borealis.
I said he does.
I know he does. I double checked.
Taking Lithians.
I'll tank it for him.
I'll go with him. Yeah. I mean, I've already done Siege, but just because
I'm acting more proud than I really am. I will absolutely ask him.
You have to, because he's gonna make you grovel because you've been blowing him off
then
all
I
week.
definitely won't. No. Fuck that.
If I were him, I would.
Other mage specs got buffed. LOL. I still think fire is gonna be the meta just because that breaks her out of
It has to be because I'm starting my fire mage.
Yep. Let's see. It seems like Retribution got some visual effects fixed.
Yeah.
Shadow has a new casting power infusion adds to the duration of the current power infusion when using. Okay, so what this is like a stupid overlay from their tier set where they would get like a power infusion while they're using power infusion and it would just not do anything. So it's like adding it. Great change.
Yep.
Some fixes for rogues. Enhancement. More changes to their tier set. We found that the interaction between electrostatic wager and the cleave damage of crash landing was creating more complex decision making. Okay.
Jesus, what a paragraph for protection. What are they doing to it?
All right.
Are they apologizing?
Text back. Let's go on ahead and give it the full time it deserves.
Before Tech tries to read it, I just want to ask Tech a question. Do you feel that you want more or less actions per minute on your warrior? Like,
you know
do you
the answer.
No, I'm asking you for the viewer's sake. It doesn't matter what I know.
Yeah, more, man. More.
All right,
I don't play a fucking prot warrior to sit around and hit the same 3 buttons over and over.
Yeah, but do you worry?
Don't keep reading it.
Well, do you worry that this is my
thought?
I
have read it. I read it.
Here's my thought, and maybe it's just because I haven't played them that much, right? But like, I feel when I play tank, I just slap buttons, right? And that's not a good way to play it because you really should be methodical.
Why would you confess that?
No. And what I mean by that is like my damage dealing buttons, right?
That's
like
why you do such bad damage. Are you kidding me? You've been going on for years. I don't know why my damage is so low. And you just said you just slap buttons.
I can't even finish the fucking sentence before you
well,
want to say something goddamn
donkeyish. I'm shocked at this revelation.
So what I was saying is that I made it a point to try to not do that with my paladin this season, right? Because I never really cared about damage. I just cared about generating my my holy power and spending it. Which I wasn't slapping. Okay. I was choosing that. That was like where I was focusing my attention. But like when I play Blood DK or Brewmaster, and again, that's mostly because I don't like play them enough to really fully comprehend what I'm doing. It hinders me that I'm like worried so much about the actions per minute and hitting every button I can that like matters, that I'm like too worried about that over my defensives and using them correctly. So my question is like, is that the same case with Warrior? Because I haven't really played Prot Warrior at all. I worry that like people are just slapping things and not being methodical about what they're doing, and that might be the reason why they're trying to change the APM.
I think the goal, as described here in the developer's notes, is to make it more appealing for newer players to pick up Prot Warrior and figure it out. Whereas, without lowering the skill cap at the high end, that's gonna be difficult to do with the approach they're taking. Like, I think that what's unique to me about Prot Warrior is that you've got so many things, so many skills that are not on a cooldown that you can use that are also not on the GCD, like shield block and ignore pain, for example. Like, you're constantly using those to spend rage off the GCD in between other skills that are already flying at it. What they need to do is fucking get rid of haste. But
in general,
yeah.
Every class loses it because Prot Warrior's 2 APM.
Right.
No, every class uses it because you've got a GCD, man. Like, anyway, the whole game.
I don't use haste on my character.
Haste impacts your GCD, though.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so I just feel like I enjoy that, but it also is good to work in macros and shit for that to be optimal. And again, there's a shit ton of I'm good at managing keybinds. I feel like I don't click anything. That's really tough to do when you've got probably 30 different skills keybound that you use a lot. So I don't know, man. It's a tough way. I enjoy that level of skill, but I've also been playing the game for 52 years. So it's I don't know. I understand the need to make it easier for newer players to pick up this hero spec and be good at it, probably because there's just not as many, I guess, at a low level. I don't know. But I enjoyed how it is. It's going to be tough to, like, balance what they're trying to do. So it basically looks like they're just wanting to make you shield slam less, but make shield slam give you more rage, and then make you spend more rage on damage dealing abilities like whatever that other one is, revenge.
Well, and
based on a big old paragraph for such a minor change.
I wouldn't say it's minor.
Okay. Well.
I mean, granted, it might actually be minor in execution, but like from what it sounds like, they're trying to slow down the gameplay.
Here's
Well,
what I'm
maybe not
reading. It
slow
says
down.
chance to reset the cooldown on Shield Slam and Devastator reduced to 25% from 20%. That seems pretty minor.
They want you to Shield Slam less, I think, and use other abilities in your toolkit possibly. Like people don't use.
Like, what do you not use?
Nobody uses the normal slam. Nobody uses Whirlwind as a Prot Warrior, which is available to you. Which would be kind of nice to like make those do things.
Yeah.
Anyway, I haven't played in like 6 years, so.
Are you coming back for next season?
Nah.
He says no, but he's gonna see us all having fun. He's gonna miss it.
He's gonna be the Squidward meme.
I don't even get in Discord anymore. I mean,
you do? What are you
You're
talking
in
about?
Discord
You're in
all
Discord
the
every night with your
time.
wife. And
Yeah,
Mighty,
playing Hearthstone.
and Mighty, whatever their name is, which I thought played Dota with you.
He did. Yeah, we used to play Dota. We still play Dota.
Yeah, we see you come in and then go to your own private channel and just ignore us.
Yeah, by the way, he overtook that channel and made it, the Hearthstone channel?
Yeah.
Did he? Oh, yeah.
Well, someone unprivatized it, but that's fine.
I did,
anyway.
because I thought you trying to pretend like you were Mr. Big Shot.
The reason I had it private is because Morlang and some of his buddies that come in here are so inappropriate that I wouldn't dare any of you guys join, and then find it like we got to shut this shit down type of thing.
Okay. Interesting.
In fact, yeah, I don't honestly enjoy some of the company at times, but
why are you bringing them into here then? Go put them in your own Discord.
because I don't want to put Christine over there.
Okay.
And we're all playing together.
We don't need to worry about this on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. You can.
Anyways, we'll see you on February
Nice
25th,
naming.
February 25th or
Moderator's
March
nightmare
2nd
over here.
for the raid, right? Because we need to figure out who's gonna be off tanking.
Well, I
I
thought you
said
were
I'm not coming back for
Yes, you
season
are.
2. 100%.
Yes, you are.
You know what? I'm saying it now. He's saying he start coming back. We're picking another tank if he shows up too late. We're just gonna have to do
sure.
it.
No, he won't care about that. It'll make him happy.
All right. Well,
Frank will
let's
tank it
declare
with
it then.
Lithium. It'll be fine.
All right, people. This is obviously going to be very hard to listen to, and I'm sorry that
Listen,
Technique is trying
people.
to make you cry.
People, there's a tank spot open in our raid group coming up.
Great.
For season.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of people who would
There's also a Delver missing from the raid group.
You'll also be the
because,
only warrior in the whole raid.
Technique hasn't played as Delves yet, right? How many days are we going on where he's going to do the plus?
Yeah, remember he said he was going to do it in the first 20 days? Wasn't
No,
that it?
I'm almost done.
Yeah, at first it was going to be like a day.
Yeah. And then he said, I need 20 days and I'll finish it.
Well,
And
Well,
he was the only one who
it
didn't
did.
do it at this point.
In my defense, Richie, what happened? Oops, excuse me.
in your defense, what?
Didn't I get a house hit with a tree or something?
He's using leaning on that excuse.
Tech,
pretty
you know
hard.
what?
Yeah,
Wait,
you
oh,
used
Wasn't my
that.
power
And-
out for
and
8
not-
days?
Yeah, so was mine.
Wait. Technique, I want to give you the house excuse, but you were still on using a generator to play WoW, so the house hit you
You were
by a
on
tree
before
had
I was
nothing.
back online.
Yeah, you were back on like next day. You're out there with your chainsaw and on WoW at the same time. So
That's actually true. Yeah.
yeah,
I was,
so
like
I don't
still sweaty
can't-
and covered in
yeah,
like sweat.
lumber. Yeah.
All right.
Sawdust.
Anyways, people are gonna be asking for that picture now. The delves have been nerfed a little bit. Delves are a little tricky for me because like they obviously wanted delves to be a big deal going into the first season, and now they're making delves have more gilded crests, and they're also making them easier to complete on 9, 10, and 11. Yet I just feel like if people don't have to do them, they're not going to do them at all unless for those gilded crests. And
Yeah.
is
I'm not doing
nerfing
them.
them the right thing to do?
I think it is just because then you're more likely to get people that don't really want to do it because like, oh, it's easy and quick.
Yeah, it might be what they need to do is they need to make it a different difficulty level than Mythic Plus so that like people who are they don't want to engage with other players, they just want to do it by themselves. It's easier they can do it because I
Well,
mean
yeah, but
I'm
this
not
is-
going to do it personally.
No, but that's the whole point. Like they're getting Mythic Plus. Okay, so gilded crest drop.
Does this drop
on
gear?
summons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see me doing this the first week to get a piece because I still have a map. Is my map going to carry over or no?
Oh, I don't know.
I
They haven't
don't
said
think. My guess
'Cause
is no.
yeah.
I don't imagine not.
Oh, okay. I mean, I have no use for it properly now. I mean, I'm just gonna hold on to it and hope I can use it. I
All right. Well, that's the
don't know.
PTR. Not too much else going on.
Those
Oh
aren't for
wait.
me.
Oh wait.
Oh wait. Oh.
Holly Longdale graced us with some insight. I want to read this whole thing through. There's more to it, obviously, and Chanee, we'll get to that in a second. But there are some other things in here that I want to call out, so I'm going to read the whole thing through, okay? So, greetings, citizens of Azeroth. As many celebrate the Lunar New Year all around the world and in Azeroth, we want to take a moment to pause, reflect on 2024, and share more of what we planned for 2025. Another year has gone by, and we are so thankful for all of those who have joined us in Azeroth, no matter what flavor you prefer, Classic Era, Season Discovery, yada, yada, yada. We're also moved by your immense generosity for the Cure de Shane. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. $2 million. Cool. Learning and growing with you. 2024 has provided us many opportunities to learn and grow this past year thanks to your steadfast support and feedback. This year, we plan to continue to build upon what we've learned, improve the game, and experiment with new ideas to invigorate and bring new twists to Azeroth. We see you too, classic WoW players. No matter what classic game mode you enjoy, the development team is dedicated to continuing to listen to your feedback and adjusting, all with endless passion for bringing you more great experiences ahead. Other than Season Discovery, like, what can you do with like the true classic version of the game?
I don't even know what they're saying. They're just saying something. They probably had ChatGPT write this. Say something about classic WoW.
Season of Discovery, which by the way, people are telling me this new past 10, not season 10, 7, season whatever 7, phase 7 is really, really good. The Karazhan dungeon sounds amazing, but do you guys even hear about like how that works? You have to carry a torch around.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't
We
do
won't go into
Season
it.
Discovery.
All right. There's no place like home. The road ahead couldn't be more exciting for us as we are more ever closer to the next chapter of World Soul Saga, World of Warcraft Midnight. We have so much to share with you as we continue to move through the war within and everything else we have planned as we progress through the year. During Warcraft Direct in November, we released a teaser for just one of the new features we're looking forward to bringing you, housing. Believe me, we have all found it hard to keep it a secret, but seeing your excitement at the reveal made it so worth it. Housing is more than a feature to us. No matter what we create, it's the community that will help us define how housing gives everyone a place in Azeroth to truly make their own. Our passionate and dedicated housing development team, so a team dedicated to it, which I think is a great idea, the Animal Crossing team, will be working alongside the community to bring you something truly special. We'll have more on that in a second. Okay. I'm going to skip the classic thing. Where WoW is and where it's going. The development team has embraced a lot of the feedback we've received from the community, and we have spent a lot of time reflecting on where the game is today. There are a few areas we want to improve upon over time, and we have already begun taking the first steps towards seeing the foundations of those improvements. First, we want to make World of Warcraft more approachable for anyone who wants to join the adventure we have available to them. In introducing the new player experience with Exile's Reach, we wanted to create an easy way for new players to begin their journeys into Azeroth, or bring returning players back that would help them get up to speed. We know the experience can be better and are working towards new improvements to the feature to streamline the experience in the near term and expand upon what it can be in the future. So is that a commitment to really revamping the leveling experience, do you think?
I think it's a commitment to making that zone.
No, Exile's Reach it's got to just go. It's not.
Yeah. I feel like we've had this discussion on the podcast before.
Yeah.
We've provided our feedback. I'm going to stick to mine and say they need to fucking get rid of the little island shit and let people play the game from the beginning.
I fully support the idea of making a classic experience for the leveling, right? Because and again, we've rehashed this. I'm not gonna, but like it feels like you're just like trying to get to the end game when you level right now. You just like burn through as quick as you possibly can.
And it doesn't even feel
the right way.
It just feels like an arbitrary barrier because it's like it's gonna take me no time. I just have to do it. Like
same with PoE, right?
Yeah. Well,
but you get the idea. All right, but I'm just like happy to hear that they have something on the docket for that, right? And hopefully we get to hear more about it in the near future.
Commitment to non-commitment, they're just saying like, we need to work on it.
I mean, they're obviously not ready to talk about it. Now, in London, there's the 30th anniversary event where Holly and Maria, I can't remember her name, but she's like the head of narrative and stuff like that. Ian will be there. They might announce some new cool things there too, hopefully. So that'll be, I think, like the end of February. But maybe we have to wait until like 11.5, which we'll talk about later. Okay, we know that being truly welcome requires a lot of work around our new and returning player experiences in modern WoW. We're committed to that work, and we'll be making some improvements in Midnight and The Last Titan. To be honest, it'll be a long-term, ongoing journey, and evolves around with its expansion. No, there is no quick fix, and we'll be here for it. We're also looking to how the World of Warcraft is played with different kinds of players so we can make improvements for everyone. Our UI UX has been going through steady changes and improvements since Dragonflight, and that will continue as we learn, research, and evolve. New features like delves, warbands, follower dungeons, and even housing naturally teaches us a lot. More to come on this soon, TM. So she dropped the soon TM. This to me stands out.
What does that mean?
This to me stands out as
Trademark.
I think they're going to start trying to implement some of the most popular add-ons into the actual base UI.
That's fine. I mean, I was really happy with the way they incorporated like bartender, because that was like one of the add-ons I always use, and they're just like, okay, you can just modify your UI however you want now. So, I mean, that's
Okay.
cool. We need a damage meter in game.
I'm going to take a second here to call out if you haven't watched already. So Taliesin and Evatail, Tally did a video. It was like a research project he did where he's like, can you play the game without any add-ons, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was a really good episode. He like started with I think his disc priest, right? Because he plays disc a lot. He's like, well, what if I don't know disc at all? So then he did a tank. He's like, well, what if I didn't do the meta tank? So he did like a non-meta tank. He's like, well, what if I just did a terrible like non-meta DPS? And so he did like Affliction Warlock or something like that. He did it with all those classes.
Yeah.
And he actually like showcases a like a bar UI that he built that looks really good. And doing things that I didn't even know they could do, like you know how they would track your spells. Now it's not perfect, of course, but like it was surprisingly really good. And it just got me thinking to like, you know, I think he even said this in the video. Why isn't there a base damage meter in the game?
That's really the only thing that I need. And then the other thing I use a lot is I make weak auras to just move like
That's the other
buffs
thing.
down, because like I can move everything else on my screen, but I have so many stupid things. Like I don't use the personal resource bar or whatever the fuck, and that's where a lot of those things get tracked. It just gets in my way, and I've never liked it. So I what I do is just take those buffs and I make weak auras. I just put them there. That's like the only thing I use. And
They need to like
why can't I
make it
move
so
that?
I can like I think like you should have a separate buff section for brief buffs.
Yeah, that's something he brings up in the video as well.
Yeah, that I could put somewhere, because most DPS specs that I've played have to track something, and where do you track it? It's like way up in the corner, and you can't like you can move it, but it's
You have to move
also got all the buffs. Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's
And
fine
it's
if
like,
you're like, do I have fortitude or not? But like, if I have this 6-second buff I get from my spec, I want to know that in my face.
yeah, that's what I make weak auras for, and I can show you how to make a weak aura for that if you want me to, Technique. But like,
No, I
it's
know how
super
to do
easy.
it. I'm saying
Okay.
this content is asking about without add-ons. Like the game needs to
Well,
have that.
I mean, I think he's kind of grandstanding, because we did a dungeon with no UI, and you could do that. Like,
No, this definitely no. His point was he wanted to make sure he was successful, so he set the bar being able to hit 2500 IO and to be able to, I think, do heroic grade.
Hayward did a time to 13 with us the other day with no add-ons on his laptop.
Yes, but
he uses details.
Yeah,
No, he had no details. He had to ask me about where he was on the meter.
But what I'm saying, Scrap, is like I'm not saying he can't do it. Haywire is a great player.
Oh yeah.
The argument was, can anyone do it, kind of thing, right?
Right.
And I mean, of course, there are plenty of people out there who do not play with add-ons. Part of me wants to have like a clean WoW only interface, but on the flip side of it, like when it especially comes to healing, Cell and what I used to use was Healbot. Like they're just so useful. Now, granted, I haven't spent any time researching how like the mouse over macros and all them work, but the point is like it's just easier to download these add-ons. So I'm hoping that this is what they're talking about. Like, hey, let's just start. This is actually a question I had for Leo. Like, why doesn't WoW just buy or buy out the devs? Like, hey, can we buy your little?
They wouldn't have to buy them. They own it. They don't have to buy the devs. Is what I'm saying. They own the creation. Yes.
They might legally say like, hey, if you make an add-on, it's our property. But like,
it's the same reason they have like rights to Defense of the Ancients, for example.
Sure, but like they can't hijack the code, right?
Well, sure, they don't have to though. I get what you're saying.
Like,
take the buy the devs and make them do it in the game.
like just hey, because half the devs don't work for any money. Like they just get money off Patreon if they're lucky.
Yeah.
And so like I remember the example of the Mythic Dungeon tool, right? The guy who built the Mythic Dungeon tool, I think it was like in Echo or something. He wasn't making any money off of it, and just like, this is way too much. The guy who made DBM, same
Very
thing,
involved,
right?
Yeah.
This is like, I can't continue to do this. It's unsustainable. And then like everyone found out DBM was about to go, and they're like, oh my god, and they just like flooded him with Patreon. Why not Blizzard just say like, look, dude, if you keep doing this, we'll give you access to, and granted, maybe they're concerned about like giving access to the actual code of the game, but like we'll just pay you to keep running this, but we want to make sure it's implemented properly into our system. It doesn't have to be a fortune because this guy obviously does this as a hobby. I don't know. I just feel like why not? You know, what is, I want to know Blizzard's answers to why not, you know?
They could do what Steam did with Dota, you know, and when you take the community, they spend this time creating these models, and if it passes all their checkboxes, then they'll implement it into the game, put it in the store, and allow players to buy the model, and they get a fraction of the money.
Well, models are a little bit different though, because again, you're not altering the game.
Same, you know, I'm getting that same mindset.
Yeah,
you know, players should be able to create add-ons for the game. They host it on their add-on store, whatever the fuck it is. You know, and they get credits or money or whatever when people use that add-on. Or they have a way to just easily donate to them through that feature, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess CurseForge is taking that straight out of us through
that, exactly. Now there's a third party that's like stealing effectively. I don't know. I mean, you could argue they're not because they're
rumors,
but like the point is that this is such a what seems to be an easy slam dunk for Blizzard to say like, let's let the community write the game for us, and
they also don't need
tidy
to.
it up. We'll
like,
tidy it up.
Where's the money for them in it?
So I mean, I think with this, it's like there's so many add-ons that like everybody has. Like
I'm
DBM,
not saying
like
do away
details
with add-ons, but like take
no, definitely not, because there's always going to be niche ones that people want for some obscure reason. I mean,
talk
most of
about
that is covered by weak auras. Okay, cool. I'm interested. But I think like details, if they see that like 90% of the player base is running this add-on, they should take it. Now, things like DBM, I personally think they have enough of what DBM is supposed to be used for integrated in the game that I don't see why they would be like, okay, we need to add this, because they could
need to
just
do a better
add
job,
like,
but they can.
The thing that DBM has over everything else is fucking timers, I think, is like the biggest thing. If you need the game to yell at you for random shit, I mean, you can make weak auras, like, if you want that to happen.
I don't really. I'm not a huge fan of add-ons. I think they should.
But you run DBM, don't you?
No.
You don't run DBM at all?
I got rid of DBM, big wigs, little wigs, most of it. I find most everything's like pretty straightforward for me, and we do the same thing like over and over. I think I'd like to see WoW. I think they should do, for like lack of a better term, like a better job, and like they are working towards it by making like circles better and stuff. And then another thing is like I think like people use like GTFO or whatever to like not stand in big pools when your screen's flashing all that. You deserve to die. I don't think there should even be an add-on.
No, but Chanee,
there's things with DBM that like put marks on you if you have a thing, or like.
Well, no. Here's a good example from
timers
Dawnbreaker.
also.
The second boss, you know, there's that overlap of the orb coming out, the ad spawning, and the AOE, right? The countdown timer, even as a mage, right? Like, forget healing and tanking. Like, I just would want to know that information of getting ready for my cooldowns, but it allows me to time and stagger certain defensives to say, okay, AOE in 5 seconds, it's counting down for me. I know my ice block, for example, lasts 6 seconds. So when it hits 1 or hits half a second, whatever it may be, if I use my ice block there, it will take me through the whole AOE. Like, that is critical information for the, you know, really high end levels. I don't think that stuff should be taken out, but it's also not a requirement to play the game, right?
Yeah, I don't. I guess for me, like I know what you mean. I'm just like I don't. Yeah,
whereas like something flashing at you, like for example, the orb being targeted on you. Right now, it's really hard to tell that without DBM, because DBM just, like, you know, you get a little debuff in the top right corner. And it's
so you get a big arrow on your head and a line. Also,
I don't think.
Yeah, you get a purple arrow on your head and you get a fat line to you specifically.
I don't see the. Are you sure about the line?
Oh,
I'm
positive about the line. You're talking about the orb on the boss?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, you got a line. What the hell? Of course you do.
I don't want to.
You bet on it, because I'm positive. Because that's the only reason I can tell.
Get it next week. We'll come back to that question next week.
Anyways, no.
I'm right.
You're right.
The point is that the point is that like having it flash up is obviously a dead giveaway. But I think it still needs to get better. Now they are working towards that, so all the power to them and keep going. I don't disagree with that, but I also think that the DBM timers, especially as a raid caller and all that,
for raid,
is so critical to getting everyone ready to dance. So I'm not saying do away with add-ons. I'm just like, I think Scrap, you said it, like 90% of the community is using details and 90% of the community is using weak ores to an extent. Weak ores will be a tough one because like, how do you build that in-game interface?
No, I don't
that
think
is easy?
I even want them to do weak ores because I like how weak ores is. It's like if you have an idea of how to build something, like you can figure it out. And it's like for me, like everybody's using like find these weak ores that are like, oh, here's like the whole thing with everything you need to track, blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm like, no, I don't want that. I just want to track one thing. I make a really shitty weak aura that doesn't work half the time, but that's what works for me. So
Well,
I like to have control over it.
Let's lead into one that is more niche. Okay, so I'm gonna read this last sentence or paragraph. In an area we want to double down in big ways, our community. Europe brings Azeroth to life, and we want to make sure the game is truly unique. To properly commit to this fundamental aspect of Warcraft, we now have a dedicated social initiative within our development team. Social stands alongside our other initiatives like expansions or housing to provide solutions and features, like, for example, rewards for positive behavior, so maybe like an MMR system technique, easier ways to connect with like-minded players, looking for group systems, and then role-playing, gasp, and more. So the role-playing one stood out to me, right? And again, I think this might be something I heard from Taliesin and Nevatail, but you know how they have that role-playing add-on that you use, Script?
Yeah.
Like, why not build something like that into the game? Even
That'd
if
be
no
lovely.
one uses it, just like something where you can edit your players' history, players, backstory. And again, they give you all the little tools to kind of help you weave the narrative so you don't just like write a block of text and hope that you get something that's good.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would take this one person on this social team maybe 2 months to maybe put it together, but they're off working on their own thing. And it comes out and all the RPs would also like lose their mind, of course, but also I feel like the non-RPs would be like, well, this is kind of cool. I kind of want to like make a backstory for my character.
I mean, I think it's so cool that they are like looking at their RP community because it is such a unique like
it's a role-playing game after all.
Yeah, it is, and it's like you have such a big world with so much lore and history, and there's so much history of the characters. I mean, it's like the perfect setting to RP in. Like you can go anywhere and do anything. So I'm glad you're.
Oh, sorry, Scrap. Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. No, I was just saying it's cool that they're like calling those people out and rewarding them.
I think they're looking at RP too because they just had a movie about how someone was in an RP.
Well, look at the classic hardcore in the RP with OnlyFangs.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Off the flippin' charts.
It's so fun to watch.
Tuning out.
Tuning out. No, it's so fun. I mean, I've been watching what's that guy, Jimmy, his hardcore.
It is insanely good content, right? In fact, they had the TGP, whatever, the Great Push, and at the same time, the OnlyFans were rating Molten Core, and it was like Zaryu and Pika and all them were getting like 100,000 viewers, and like the TGP was getting like 20K, right? Like people are super interested in what's going on. Now, of course, there's a ton of drama, right? But that is RPing too, right? I mean, Iblin had drama, right?
Every single person watching that stream is hoping they wipe, like, and they want to be there when they die. I mean, I saw
watching.
Yeah, I was there in I was in Thunderbluff once when Pika died on one of his level 50 odd characters, and everybody in like the Thunderbluff chat in the trade chat was talking about it. Like it was like, oh my god, like what an idiot.
It's funny because dude, in actual classic WoW before everyone was a fucking streamer, you walked into the city and you saw the dude with the outfit for the guys that were clearing the raids, and you're like, that motherfucker, he was a celebrity on your server, right? And when someone like that died, or a guild was doing something important on your server, like that was a big deal. And those dudes were celebrities before, like there was 2 million subscribers or whatever the fuck. But I think that's really cool. They're kind of bringing that back. That's like the modern version of what we all are so nostalgic over to play classic. Like,
I don't want to play classic
create a name
all,
for
but
yourself.
If I were in OnlyFans and even just getting a taste of some of the fun that they're doing, it'd be like the arena combat they had for like guild leader or the punishment.
I saw that. So funny.
And there was also like, I mean, there's tons of drama in OnlyFans. There's a whole bunch of shit I've been hearing about. Anyways, it does sound like this is a good, I guess, a good check of the pulse for what we actually might want, but they're not talking about. Now, Scrap, you said it is only words. We might not see any of it come to fruition. But I don't think that, especially with the soon TM, I don't think they would. Why write this if you're not going to commit to it, right?
I don't think they're committing to anything here. They're just saying we want to do this stuff, but they're not
committing to things that
laying
they
out what
said,
they're
hey, we're
doing.
going to talk to you about this in the future.
Okay,
That's
cool.
committing to saying, like, we've got something we just want to let, teasing.
I like that they're putting this out. I think it's cool, but I feel like there's a lot of nothing in this. Like, let's see with the one from last year. I bet it's exactly the same.
They didn't have one last year.
Okay, let's see the last one they ever put out. They never put one of these
They
out before?
didn't. That's the point.
Right.
Okay, well, it's fine. Well, let's look at the one next year. It'll be the same.
Look, no, hold on, Scrap. We talk about how we want the devs to be more communicative, right? Like, we want them to be more.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is a big nothing burger of teasing, right?
Yeah.
But this is not what we would normally get. We're getting like, hey, guys, this is where our mind is at. I know we can't share a lot right now, but, again, why drop the word role-playing if you don't have something in the oven ready to talk
It's
about?
nice. Yeah, they have fucking Brawlers Guild fake ass bullshit. That's their RP thing. And then they're going to say, well, last year you promised us you'd give us more RP stuff. And they're like, we did. You can go to this one place and do a stunned animation.
Sure,
they're going to do exactly
but
that.
by definition, that is them meeting. Huh?
People look at. Yeah, let
post.
me say something, buddy. The blue post, like, historically is like Blizzard law. Like, people wait patiently for
it's the receipt.
to hear what. Yeah. What's the blue post? But this post looks like Holly had a couple bottles of wine and just decided, like, you know what?
God.
20 years, I gotta say something to the kids.
It feels kind of gendered. I don't know.
And just. What do you mean? I drink wine.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's sexist. I'm just saying it feels a bit gendered, but go off, King.
Holly, why? I didn't say anything
No, you didn't. You're fine.
related to her gender. I didn't
fine.
even.
Go on.
Okay.
Slapping at you guys laughing.
So this stupid chick just goes on having
Double
her wine.
down.
Christ. And it hasn't said anything, as Frank said. It's like it's a nothing burger. It's hey guys, it's like watching a politician go up and say, these are the things I know are wrong with the country, and you know what? We're gonna fix it.
Hold on, but there's two things to take away from that. First,
plan.
She is the politician. She is the
That's her
figurehead,
job.
right?
Yeah.
Second, this is not like a politician where we can't easily fire politicians, right? This is someone who is saying something, and if they don't keep their word, there is accountability to it. Not granted.
Yeah, but there's a good chance she's going to keep her word by doing that Fight Club thing.
No,
anyway.
Okay, but that's just being
Negative Nancy.
Not I was gonna say negative Nancy, but like being facetious. Like you're purposely saying like that's their thing. There's no evidence to suggest that that's how bad the RP thing.
Let me lay this out. This is a nothing burger. I'm not mad that it's a nothing burger. I just don't think we should talk about it anymore.
Okay, let's move on.
Can I one
in the
thing
same post?
Yeah, go on. Let Chanee say his one thing.
Go on.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going to see Blue Post more this year for communication, just because they're not having BlizzCon. This is like their tease for their like BlizzCon-y.
They might have a BlizzCon this year.
Wouldn't they have already sold tickets and stuff for it?
No, they wait till
no.
usually
When do they normally sell tickets?
Summer.
It doesn't sound. I mean, they
November.
might, but like, I would say you'd see this being more of the direction they go in general, because I don't know if they'll. Yeah.
Well, look, in this same post is where they introduced, hey, player housing post is coming today.
Yeah.
So you guys want to move on? Let's talk about
Let's move
that.
on, because we're getting late in this one.
Shocker.
No, we're not. Blizzard has posted the first look at World of Warcraft player housing. I'm not going to read the summary. I'm going to read the actual
cute.
thing. Okay?
Look at that concept art.
Have you not seen this, Scrap?
No, I haven't seen any of it.
Oh, okay. All right. We're excited to kick off our first look at housing in World of Warcraft and share some philosophies and plans for the future. First up, we're focusing on high-level design pillars for housing, as well as talking about a few key areas of housing as we lay the foundation for future discussions. So, fortifying housing with pillars. When developing such a large new feature, it's useful to start by defining its pillars. They help the development team get on the same page before we start building, as well as providing a guiding light while making decisions and identifying priorities. It's important to note that while these pillars are broad in scope by their nature, they aren't all-encompassing. Just because something isn't mentioned in the pillar doesn't mean it's not important. Boundless self-expression is the first pillar. Our highest priority is to allow players to build a house that shows off their own personal tastes of their warbands, acts as a desired backdrop for their role-playing, or just allows players to create something in a flight of fancy. The toolset should be easy enough for someone with no 3D experience to be able to comfortable to use successfully, but it should also be powerful enough that players that can surprise us with their creations or drill down to get the tiniest details just right. The gamut of decor options spans not just the cultures of Azeroth, but many expansions of World of Warcraft as well.
That's exciting.
So a good sign that it's going to be granular and it's going to be, you know, again, I think of the kind of things you saw in Animal Crossing where like they really got creative with some, and that doesn't even have that many possible things like World of Warcraft does as far as like items. Like WoW in one expansion alone has so many assets added to it. So like we should.
They already have so many assets. I mean, how many different chairs do they have over 20 years of expansions? There's new
just
chairs
one expansion.
in every.
There's like 15 of them in one expansion. You know?
Well, they've got you know what chairs the Tauren use, what chairs the undead. Even in classic, they have more chairs.
Can you put the frozen throne in your house? Do you think?
Sick. Yeah, I want the fucking frozen throne in my house. But I mean, they have so many assets. This is a layup, man. They just let us have access to your chair vault, and so we can have any chair in the game.
Pillar number 2: deeply social. World of Warcraft is more fun with other players, and housing should be no different. While players can enjoy housing purely on their own, its systems are designed at a fundamental level to encourage interacting, playing, and progressing with friends, neighbors being keyword there, guilds, and the wider community in a meaningful way. And Chanee, by the way, jump in whenever you feel like there's something really important to talk about techniques doing his camera thing.
They kind of break it down after. I'll jump in when people make outlandish comments without having read this.
Long-lasting journey. Housing is built as an evergreen addition to the game with its own roadmap, reaching across multiple patches and into the future expansions. Housing isn't something players should expect to finish, but instead continue to look forward to the next housing release, be it a new content or system. This is a long-term commitment for us as developers and offers players rewards all along the way. One more important note, even though it's not an explicit pillar, wide adoption is a primary consideration for us as well. Most players should want a house in Azeroth, and if a player wants a house in Azeroth, they can have a house in Azeroth. Furthermore, housing is being designed to scale with the player's interest. If someone wants to spend dozens of hours a week in their house, that's great. If they're only interested in coming and going once or twice a month, that's great too. Here's the meat and potatoes. We've seen a lot of discussion and speculation from the community on where players will be able to have houses. We've decided early on that there would be 2 housing zones available at launch, one for Alliance and one for Horde, with many more places to live in the future. More possible places. The Alliance zone takes inspiration from Elwyn Forest with touches of Westfall and Duskwood, and the Hordes is inspired by Durotar, its coastline, and S.C.R.A.P. There are 2 main reasons for this decision. Having many housing zones conflicts with the
nobody's in S.C.R.A.P.
What? No, S.C.R.A.P. is such a cool zone.
It is. Hold on, I do want to interject for a second. Okay. And I want Chanee to fuck me up here. So they're splitting Alliance and Horde. I love that, except I play Horde and you guys play Alliance.
No, I play Horde.
You're going to see, they answer that.
Yeah, the answer comes in later. Your own tunes can go in your house, no matter where it is, Alliance or Horde.
So if you have a troll character and you buy one on Horde, your Alliance tunes can go to it as well.
Yes.
And don't worry, there's more to that. There's more to that. Don't worry, we're getting there. We're getting there.
I think you, me, and Haywire can have a compound.
Having many housing zones conflicts with the second pillar of design feature that is deeply social. In a world where players can live in many different zones, they become increasingly spread out, and even with aggressive sharding, the chance of seeing other players, much less interacting with them, drops quickly. Putting it bluntly, zones are a lot of work. We'd much rather do a great job with a small number of zones than do a passable job on a large number of them. S.C.R.A.P, I'm thinking of the warband screens. Or come up with solutions that take players out of the world into their own personal instance of a zone. We chose these as starting points because of how iconic they are for their respective factions and how much they feel like homes to so many players already. Okay, so let's get into the details that seems to be concerning.
Look at that.
Similarly, there have been discussions in the community on whether housing will be pay to play, win, or not, along with other conversations around real-world money. We've been very aligned in our internal conversations that housing is designed to be primary player first and not revenue first. Housing will offer hundreds and hundreds of decorations and house customizations via in-game rewards, but will also offer a small number of items in the cash shop as well. This is comparable to how transmogs and pets are currently handled in the game versus the shop. We want to allow players to have as many options as possible for creating their perfect home in Azeroth. As part of our focus in the wide adoption, we wanted to ensure that housing is available to everyone. If you want a house, you can have a house. No exorbitant requirements or high purchase costs, no lotteries, and no onerous upkeep. If your, for example, subscription lapses, don't worry, your house does not get repossessed, which is, I think, a dig at Final Fantasy.
Yeah, this is all a dig at Final Fantasy.
Your houses are also shared amongst your warband, with your different characters being able to come and go as you see fit. So an orc character can hang out in your Alliance house without a problem. Housing rewards are also shared across your warbands, so you'll be able to use your decor collection no matter which character earns it. Furthermore, it's not just warbands that cross factional lines, but friendships as well. So you'll be able to live in, so that's a keyword, live in or visit your friends or guildmates' houses and their neighborhoods with minimal restrictions regarding faction. For example, while it's not possible for a human character to buy a house in the Horde Zone, your troll character in the same warband can, and your human can use it as if it were their own. Before we go, we want to mention the concept of neighborhoods as a small tease. Houses are organized into roughly 50 plot neighborhoods, letting players live next to each other, work together, and share in rewards of being a part of the neighborhood. Neighborhoods are instanced, but crucially also persistent, so your neighbors can be your neighbors for years to come, or until one of you moves. Neighborhoods are also come in two flavors. Public neighborhoods, which the game servers are responsible for creating as needed and maintaining, and private neighborhoods created by groups of friends or guilds to inhabit, progress, and customize together. So while an individual player can have a house, a community can have a neighborhood.
If the MDL doesn't have the sickest fucking neighborhood, I'll never play.
We're gonna have a big fight about where it's gonna go because I know Frank wants it in Elwyn Forest.
Well, you can have technically two.
Well,
yeah, so
you're not putting it in. You'll have an Alliance one and a Horde one, and it's not going actually in Elwyn Forest. They're just wherever they put it. That's where it is with features that look like and attribute it to certain zones.
Yeah, these are new zones. Sounds like, right?
Not, okay. Well, they just have a little bit of everything.
But they're based on this.
Oh, look at that art! Is so good.
Yeah, like because it's gonna be its own instance, right?
Yeah.
So it'll seem like you're in there, but I don't. From what I understand, it doesn't sound like you walk out of Stormwind and you walk into like.
Well, yeah. So let's take a
subdivision.
Let's take a quick
look.
Gotcha.
I see it's aesthetically like an area that's mixed because I see S.C.R.A. in the background and Buritar. Right. Okay, yeah.
Well, you got like some shore stuff and like a lot more water than I'd expect.
I call it beachfront. I dibs on beachfront property.
So here's Duratar, right? Where do you think this is actually going to be instanced?
Oh, I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be its own place. I think there's going to be two islands, and they're going to be the Alliance Island and Horde Island.
You think there'll be islands?
They always do an island. Look at every fucking expansion on the planet. They're like, okay, new expansion, it's an island. Like,
I think you need to look at the world map for this. It's not going to be in Storm on that map. You know, it's going to be.
I think it will be some kind of portal to your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it could be. It could have like an island on the game, just not on an existing.
This doesn't. I mean, I guess it could be an island, but like, what island goes from S.C.R.A. to?
No, they're gonna have. It's a new island that has terrain that looks like S.C.R.A. and
They specifically said it's 2 new zones.
Yeah, 2 new
and
zones.
And each zone is themed based on these multiple like.
Yeah, so 2 islands.
Aesthetics.
It might not even be an island. I mean, technically, they could just add a piece of land to the maps.
Go to the Eastern and Western Kingdoms, Frank, and show us what those maps look like. You got them?
No, but I can.
Yeah.
But my guess is either you zone in somehow, like just straight up, like it's like go to your neighborhood.
Fly into it, yeah.
Yeah. Or they just add like a piece of land on somewhere, and there's like, yep, map's been slightly changed.
See, every island for every expansion, they just like, oh yeah, there were Dragon Isles the whole time. You know what I mean? They just
sure.
Where are we? Kazalgar,
they obviously can write it
island.
into it. I don't think they'll do that, but yeah, I get your point.
I think they will. But think about like Echo Isles and stuff. It's just like it's not even on this map. But it's like the goblin starting area. They're just like, oh, it's just an island.
If you click on the Maelstrom, it's in that.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's in the Maelstrom. I forgot. But I mean, they could easily add it to some shit and just put a fucking island off the east coast of Kalimdor and the west
Maelstrom.
Just throw the Maelstrom. Who gives a fuck? There's a whole big empty space on the east side of Kalimdor that has no islands yet. I'm sure we will find some.
Wait, what?
The east coast. No. See that big gap where on
talking about between Kalimdor and Zandalar. Like,
I'm talking about between Kalimdor and the Maelstrom.
Look at all that ocean. Not going to be that big. This is going to be like this size island right here.
Yeah, for the next expansions, though, they have all that space.
You're right. I read it as they're going to like kind of put it on top of Orgrimmar. You know,
that's going to be islands. Mark my words.
Okay. Well, wait, I want to get the picture. Okay.
Mark my words.
So this like 50. I was expecting 10, maybe 20. 50 is a lot. Right?
I can have 2 houses.
I'm more excited than I was originally. Chanee, how are you feeling?
What about roommates? Can you have roommates?
Yeah, it said you can live in your friend's house.
Yeah, that's what it said. Live in.
Like you can. Well, there was assets they mentioned like that. The last time we talked about housing, it did say there was things that made it look like, I can't remember what you guys call it.
Well, you can have like permissions.
You get permissions for like people to move stuff around in your house. So it implied that either people can help you design your house, or basically you could be like, yeah, let's live in a house together.
You could have like a family together.
I
don't think it's The Sims.
But you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they're looking more into RP stuff as it is. Why wouldn't they allow someone to like RP a family?
If they make this shit The Sims, even just like The Sims 1, I will never play any other fucking game again.
I agree.
Do you
think this is where they add last names finally?
Oh, that'd be fun. Well, I mean, we would have titles, but last names would be interesting. I mean, all my characters have last names. Like,
I'm over the moon about this.
So,
everything
Chanee,
they said
off
made
the charts so far.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're like, it's evergreen. They're gonna we're gonna work on this. This is just a start. There's gonna be a lot to it. The fact that they definitely, I know Tech wanted like his own place all by himself somewhere, but like I do think
he can have it if
work.
He wants.
Eventually,
you can have that little house up on that cliff.
But I like the idea that they're
in the shadows.
Yeah, I like the idea that they're kind of leaning towards it being more neighborhoody. Because like a lot of people say, like, oh, WoW's lost its like sense of like working togetherness. If they make stuff too where like you can work together in your neighborhood to make your neighborhood somehow better. If they're like, hey, if the neighborhood collects this much stuff, or like if you can have invasions in the neighborhoods of just like NPC invasions of some kind, or like
the more Animal Crossing that it gets, the better.
Yeah, like I never played Animal Crossing, but like all the stuff they could do that I think would be great. I love that
Chanee,
they even mentioned
they're going to give you your farm.
Oh God, I want a farm so bad. The fact that like I like too that they straight up say like, hey, if you don't want to interact with this, but like twice a month or next to never, that's fine. But if you want to, it's going to be like a lot to do. So
you're going to be the head of the HOA of our community, Chanee.
I want to believe
lawns are in order.
Flex has already claimed his upstairs bedroom.
So what I'm interested in, one, I want to add on, I love that one of the main tenets is that they want it to be collaborative, because that's not something I was necessarily expecting, and it's going to make it so much more fun, because I mean, our community has been growing a lot. We have more characters that frequent, like our raids
brought
are getting
another woman
so full.
into the group.
Right, yeah, thank you. Hi, Reef. Nice to meet you. But I'm just saying, like, before, when we branched off on our own, like, we were kind of struggling to get a consistent raid group and stuff. And this last patch, like, we've had consistent raiders. We have lots of people coming in the Discord and doing stuff. And it's like, I see our community is thriving, and now we'll have, like, actual place to
imagine where it'll be in a year's time.
Right? Yeah, well, hopefully
Folks, if you want to come and join the neighborhood, we got, 47 more spots left.
Look, all it takes to become a regular here is just be a regular. Like, come in Discord, hang out and chat. Like, we're friendly. There's so many people who like found us through the podcast who are now like fucking just everyday faces.
He's on,
like,
he was on the podcast.
He was like one of our first like fans who came in, and he's just in Discord. Every time we're in Discord, he's in Discord. He's chatting. Now he's like, we do so much shit with him because he's just always around, and like he's a cool guy. So like, all you gotta do, you need a community. Come in, talk, raid with us. It's fun. Like, we're nice.
Over the moon about the announcement, everything in it. There's nothing in it that made me be like, oh no, I hope they don't do that. Like, I love the fact that, if you want to have a house and you don't want to be in anyone else's neighborhood and you just want to chill, you can.
You know what I think the best part of the news was? And I'm actually going to call back. You remember that game, the survival game Blizzard was talking about hiring people for like 2 years ago that got canceled?
Yeah.
I don't think they were hiring for that. I think they were hiring for housing, and they were making a team dedicated to this, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of the things that kind of fall into this was like survival-esque. And I think that they're just like, okay, let's make it look like we're making another game, and then we'll just call this the housing team. That was
I don't know why they would do that.
Well, because how do you hire for it that is a different gameplay style without giving clues that you're making the housing team?
Why wouldn't they want to give clues? Because that would only build hype.
Because Blizzard Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, because they don't want to announce it until they're ready to make it sound like we know what we're doing, right? Because if you'd said, hey, we're hiring people to make player housing, one, it would have like, kind of spoiled the fun. But two, people would have been for 2 years speculating on how Blizzard will get this wrong. and they didn't like they didn't even know what they were doing yet. They wouldn't have had the pillars. They wouldn't have had like an idea of how good the developers were.
I don't know, that might be a good thing though, because if you're seeing what everybody's worried about happening, you could say, okay, team, don't do that.
I don't know. I think building by committee, like that's the problem with users, right? Is that they all have an opinion and they're like assholes, right?
I'm gonna do something different, and I'm not gonna pretend to know how game dev works.
Whoa.
So I'm not gonna comment on this, I guess.
I think. Wait, I was gonna say the reason they may have also been like, if this is how they did it, is because Blizzard does have a habit of like being like, we're gonna do something, and they work on it for like a while, and then they're like, it's not working how we want. We got to scrap it and start it all over. And if you announced 2 years ago, like we're hiring for a housing team, the amount of people, me included, that would be hounding them for like, where's this coming out?
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later, I'm like, where's this housing? And they announce like, hey, I know we hired for a team. We had to scrap the housing. We didn't like where it was going. We're back to square one. I'd be like, you sons of bitches. Yeah. So it's one of those I'd rather not know. And then this is great to me. Like I'm over the moon over it.
What about all the people who were excited for the unannounced survival game? That's what happened to them.
In fairness, I was one of those people, but I'm happier to have this. And Shrouded is a great survival game. Go play that.
I don't even know.
And like, I mean, I was excited when they said they might do some kind of StarCraft Ghost game. That never happened. And I've lived through it. Oh, I'm getting player housing. And I love that they took little digs of Final Fantasy. I thought that was hilarious.
I will say, when we originally talked about player housing at the very beginning, I was like, I'm probably not going to fuck with it, but I'm going to fuck with this.
No way.
Especially
no way you wouldn't have fucked with it.
If they make it
Transmog Queen doesn't do building house.
I'm not a house guy. I don't know. Like
you didn't get Animal Crossing when it came out?
No, I never played Animal Crossing. Not one day of my life.
Folks, she is an absolute donkey.
Imagine, like, think of the hilarious things they could put into, like, just to have, like, funny things. Because, like, you know how you can, like, throw fish at people? Imagine they let you, like, egg people's houses in your neighborhood and, like, throw...
holidays. Imagine what holidays are going to look like.
One piece of furniture you guys want, because I already know.
I think they can do a lot.
Yeah.
What's the one piece of furniture? Chanee, one piece of furniture in your dream that you could have in this. Just one.
The frozen
if you zoom back in on the picture, you see the one dead center, like under the gray mountain.
Yeah, that's
in
you,
the shadows.
The hermit.
That one, I'd be there. I'd sell some really cool shit at my shop. You'd have to. I'm the only person on the whole fucking like neighborhood that sells the cool shit.
One piece of furniture I want is like some kind of really amazing, like kitchen table for everyone to come to my house and like sit around.
Sweet. Like a Norman Rockwell Thanksgiving table.
Yeah, I want some really great table because I want us to like RP in the house having like supper on holidays.
Let me tell you mine. What a lawn flamingo.
Oh, there's definitely gonna be a lawn flamingo.
It's gonna be like Mazernache lawn flamingo.
I gotta tell you a quick story. One time when I first started dating Christine, we were at a restaurant and we had been drinking, and we were leaving this restaurant, and I was just like walking out of this fine dining restaurant. They had lawn flamingos, and she goes, "Oh, one of those," and I was like, "Okay." I grabbed it, and we left.
You grabbed it,
and it's in my garage.
And that's
the
story of how I stole something.
Put it out.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to go show it to you?
No,
it's it's actually in the pod right now, stashed somewhere.
All right. So step in the right direction. I think we all agree. Even when we weren't excited, we're now excited.
Huge leap in the right direction.
Good. Okay.
Currently, they're doing no wrong with housing. I'm sure next Blue Post, I'll have to defend it because S.C.R.A.P will be like, I don't get excited over promises because they always break them.
I love to poo-poo things. So
yeah.
11.1.5 has gone on the encrypted server. Another reason why I think that the patch will be very soon. Are we going to be so like new content Nightfall? I'm not sure what that is, but this is also where we see the horrific visions. Are we going to be already like looking down the barrel of, I think what they say it's like 8-week cadence for each patch. Like this feels like it's moving pretty fast. What do you guys think?
What I can't really see it, but is it next summer will be not this coming summer, but next summer will be the new expansion?
This coming summer will be the expansion reveal. Winter-ish will be when it launches.
It's going to launch this winter?
Yeah, it comes out this year, S.C.R.A.P.
Yeah, they'll have the beta probably.
4?
There's no season 4.
The hell?
They might. I mean, again, they might do a truncated thing, but it looks like player housing will be what we have as our season 4 content.
That sounds fun. Cool. I'm down. That seems pretty fast, but I feel like this patch felt really fucking long, but
well, so it is following the I think it's 8-week cadence for each mini patch. However, there was an extra 2 weeks for the holidays, so that doesn't help.
I mean, I was done with this shit in December, and then I had a brief resurgence with the ring came out, and I could push a little bit higher, and now I'm done with it again.
But wasn't that part of the reason why it's so great that WoW has that catalog of classic, hardcore, all that fun stuff now?
Yeah, I played the shit out of hardcore, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. And I'm making a really nice barn in Minecraft right now. So, I mean, I don't mind having lulls in the season. It just feels like I was been done with the season for a while.
Yeah. I'm still thoroughly enjoying it, but I get it.
I mean, wait till I get a house. I'll never be done.
I know, that's...
Let's go to hopefully a quick question of the week, but I think this is one that Technique might enjoy answering. I didn't type it out, so I apologize. It won't appear on screen, but it's from Ioski. So the question was, we were talking about one boss raids, like, for example, Onyxia, right?
Yeah.
And what was a common place for expansions for WoW? I think Wrath of the Lich King was what started it and went through to, like, even Mop, I think. No, Cat at least. Was this idea that there was a PvP zone, and when you took control of it, there would be a one raid boss, right? But the question was essentially stemming from, what will happen in the future around factions? Because I think the Horde versus Alliance, barring maybe at the end of the World Soul Saga something new happening, they're dead and gone, right? Like, I mean, we're not going to have a faction clash. We can't.
They can't take away our guild splits up now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can't take that away.
But they can replace
make you choose. You might be able to join the Alliance or the Horde as any.
Oh, like a Scryers and Aldor type thing.
Yeah. So, like, you know, the argument is Midnight might be like Midnight versus the Shadow versus the Light, right? We might have to make the decision.
Pick as a guild then.
No, I think what it'll be is more for RP purposes, but they would make it so that you could RP, like, okay, so let's just set a scenario of what could be, okay? So in Midnight, you know, let's say at the end of the expansion, like the last patch, there is this reveal that Zaltath isn't as evil as we might think. She's doing something that actually makes sense, but that also conflicts with, you know, what the people of the Light might think, or, you know, what the Titans, you know, it could be Titans versus the old gods.
Yeah, cool.
And there's no player power. I think they've learned their lesson with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there could be this idea that there are battlegrounds and or tug of war games, zone controls, where the Light and the Shadow fight each other. And of course, you can switch between them, you know, if you want. And maybe it would like actually affect your spell flavor, right? So if
what it looks like.
Yeah, kind of like how Hero Towns might do it, where it like takes your Holy Nova and turns it Shadow, whatever. So I was just like curious what you guys would like to see if there was ever, again, maybe not the factions as Horde and Alliance, but what would you think would be a great faction fight to see?
Let me go first, just because I'm going to make it brief. But we'll see. I really, so it reminds me of BFA, where if you're on the Horde side, you could do quests that were like for Sourfang or for Sylvanas, but it became really clear what they wanted you to do, because it was like, oh, if you do the Sylvanas quest this week, you get no reward, and if you do the Sourfang one, you get like a transmog. Like, they were like, this is the one you're supposed to do. Yeah, there was one thing where they ended up going back and adding a reward because people were so annoyed. They're like, dude, if you're letting us choose it, like, let us actually pick, like, you know, like the bad route, basically, because it seemed like we were being railroaded into picking Sourfang because, like, that's who they wanted to win, you know. So if they were going to do this, they really have to go all out. Like, if they want to do like a Light versus Shadow, like, it has to be just as cool to be in the Shadow as is the Light, and vice versa. But I like what they did with like Covenants, where it's like, you know, I have a Venthyr, like, I have cool reddish spells, and I have cool transmog that goes with it and stuff, and like, yeah, obviously later you can get all of it, but I felt really committed to what I had picked in the first season because it was really hard to change. And it was cool to see, like, I can look at you and I can see you're a Kyrian guy because you're using Kyrian spells and stuff. So I think there's precedent for doing something like that. And I think it would be a good idea.
Do you think the idea of, okay, so my answer real quick, and I'm just going to give the example, would be the Titans versus the old gods, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're building this narrative that the Titans aren't as good guys as we expect them to be.
Yeah, but how do they make the old gods good?
Well, the argument could be like, I don't want to. No, I'm not going to go down the political route.
Okay.
I was just going to say, like, this idea that people are fed up with, you know, the people in charge, right? And
so you pick the tentacle monster? Like
again, I don't want to go down the political route, but anyways,
like,
the idea would be that there are
life.
people who are, wanting to get not revenge, but get like justice for the people in power who are abusing that power, right?
Right.
The question I have though is someone has to win at the end of it, right? And I think the narrative
and it won't
might
be the people.
I think the narrative would be that the Titans will maybe like come out on top and learn their lesson or whatever. Okay, let's just say
or they have to work together against a greater evil, or they both lose.
What is the greater evil than old gods versus Titans? Like, what
I don't know.
The pantheon?
It's the mystery third faction we don't know about that just shows up. That's now playable.
But that's not the concern. Is like, do you think that it would betray? Let's say 50% of the people go Void and 50% go Titans. Do you feel like it is not a cop out, but like, do you think there's a problem with the fact that one of them has to win at the end? Anyone that was on the wrong side maybe isn't punished, but like will feel like they chose the wrong side.
Okay, they do that to the Horde every fucking expansion.
Sure,
like, I'm just saying. Like,
fair enough.
They're gonna make the nice guys win and the bad guys lose. So if you have a problem with that, pick the good guys. If you like cool tentacle armor, pick the bad guys. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's gonna be good. Like, unless they find a way to say like everybody loses or everybody wins. But I don't know. Okay. I just like the idea of us fighting again, because there is something a bit lost of like me being out in a zone and just seeing like an alliance guy and be like, hey, fuck that guy, and just killing him just because I feel like it. That's definitely lost.
Chanee, what about you?
I am so lost on what the actual original question is. I feel like we get all squirrely.
You only think about player house, and that's all you care about right now.
No, I guess for me, if there was some kind of like sides, I'm okay with like picking a side and that being it. Like if
the sides were like Canada and USA, which one would you pick?
100% Canada.
Well, I would.
Like,
might be the near future.
Right.
We'll see.
I don't know what you're talking about, technique. I mean, but no, I miss Horde and Alliance. I miss like I'm glad I can play with my Horde friends. I'm glad I can play with my Horde friends, but at the same time,
it feels so. I tell you what I miss. It feels really arbitrary that like I can't do random shit with you. It's like we're best buds. I've done so many keys with you, and like I can't trade you a piece of gear because we both work to Dornigal. Like there's so many little arbitrary things
that's
where
just
it does get in the way.
They're not doing it for role playing reasons.
No, but they should just get rid of like they will. I would love if they worked on that. They will. I'm just gonna say this is my negative comment about Blizzard for the day.
If I want to
work on that, so I don't have to. Yeah,
if I as an undead
Everything
player want to go back to my old house in Stormwind, I should be allowed to do that. Like,
Well, there's an actual RP reason for that, though. And by the way, they're not from Stormwind. They're from Lordaeron.
What if I was from Stormwind? What if I died?
Did Stormwind exist back then? I thought the whole reason. It did. Yeah,
I could care less if there's a one boss raid and there's some kind of side. Like, do whatever. I'll just show up to raid and do what I'm told.
No, I know, but I mean, like, even would you forget the raid bosses? Like, just the idea that, as S.C.R.A.P said, you're out in the world and you see a void and you're a Titan supporter, right? That maybe
100%. I want to
and it would transcend. It would transcend the guild. Like it's more of like just for fun kind of thing.
What would be so sick is if I'm out and I see all void guys as like creatures. Like you remember in like that Among Us fight where you would see like a demon above somebody's head if they're an imposter. Like just out in the world, I would see you with like glowing red eyes and like tentacles pouring from you, and it would only be apparent to me as a light player, and I would just be like, fuck that guy and go kill him, and vice versa. Like if I were like a void player and I see a light guy, they would just be like fucking bathed in light with wings and shit, like, and then I would know, hey, there's a fucking light dork up on that hill. I'm gonna go fucking get him,
Kind of how like Plunderstorm highlights you whenever you're so you can see them from far
away.
I
don't want it just to be a highlight. I want it to be like I actually see you as a monster, and that would give me more reason to just like want to kill you.
Okay.
And then it'd be obvious from a distance.
I'm curious what Tech has to say on this, if anything.
He's not listening.
He's playing. I was
listening.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm patiently waiting so I can get in my bed. But no, but to be fair, this topic I do have some interest in. I think if they're going to do some sort of like teams picking, it has to be meaningful, and it has to make like the choice has to be important. I want to like S.C.R.A.P said, I'd love to know like who the enemy is and feel like they're the enemy. I want to feel like I'm going to the Super Bowl wearing my Bills hat or my Chiefs hat or whatever the fuck. I don't even know who's playing.
Eagles.
Yeah, fucking care. But yeah, you know, I want to go to that game every time I log in and see the enemy and be like, you know, and just feel that to my core. And I think the only way Blizzard could do that to me is make it Alliance versus Horde again in
That'd
a
be a cool
way
way
that's
to be a
maybe more
finale.
modern. Like I feel well, it is like midnight. Anyway, I just feel like if they're gonna do it like that, it'd be cool to like modernize it and say like, dude, you at this point, alliances, you can join the alliance as any faction, any whatever, and you can join the Horde. You just like basically pick it and dedicate your game time to it. Maybe there's a new big city, whatever. And I think that'd be a cool way to do it.
Yeah, and I like the idea on paper. My only concern is that like it still doesn't solve the guild problem, because even if 50% of us choose the Horde, whatever faction we are, and the other 50% don't, like, do we still get to raid together? And I mean, the easy answer is yes, you can do whatever you want. It's a game. But like, I think part of this is that wouldn't be funny even in the raid that you see like that person's a shadow and you're holy or whatever. And like there could be, again, I don't think there should be any player power associated with it.
Yeah.
But like there could be just little tiny flavor interactions that make it just a little more fun, that you know, those guys are the shadow and fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Like you should be able to slash spit on the enemy again.
Yeah, and fart on them.
And then like out in the world,
like
you can flag
PvP
PvP in a sense. And there would be these like, you know, I always think of Planet Side, which is a game where you just like the massive world and you zone control as much as you possibly can. Imagine if they took the old world, like the two kingdoms, and made it so that like each zone was held and you had to go like take it. Like, it'd just be this massive battleground that would be going on. And granted, there could obviously be imbalance, but Blizzard could just like put their finger on the scale to push it back in whatever way they would. I just don't think, one, there should be any player power. I like the idea technique that it's like a meaningful choice, kind of like how they wanted Covenants to be. But that only works if there's no player power, and it only works if they make sure they balance whatever, you know,
it worked with player power when Covenants, you know, you had to pick which Covenant you joined.
No, it was
eventually
optional.
Well,
the problem was that there was like significant.
They had to fucking try to please everyone, and so they couldn't. They just took it all and normalized everything, and that was, I think, a lazy way to fix what wasn't a problem in the first place.
It was tough because there were a lot of times where like it, you know, this would be good for Prot Warrior, but this is better for Fury Warrior, and it was not easy to switch Covenants, and it seemed
weird.
Let alone
tuning passes that they made.
Yeah, and it was very weird in like a game where we'd be able to swap our talents on a whim for a really long time to suddenly not be able to do that again. It was like they were taking something away from us. Like I liked it because I don't play a lot of different specs, so I was
but you
chill.
did
I was
choose based off power, right?
I did. But then they did. So then they did a tuning pass, and they nerfed the one that I picked. And that I'd never played Warrior before, and I picked Fury Warrior because I thought the Venthyr transmog looked cool. And then they adjusted it, and then it wasn't as good anymore, and so I had to switch because I was falling really behind. So
maybe you get to. Maybe they give you like multiple options under each faction, and you have to pick. Well, that doesn't really fix the
I like the idea of it
anyway,
making it like a permanent choice, because you could always just do another alt to see the other side of it if you wanted, right?
Yeah,
but it just shouldn't be any player power, because that's what people hated about it. Was once I made my choice, because again it's an RP choice, and then you do a tuning pass, everything is undone, and it's like, well, now I've wasted my time.
Yeah, I mean, I picked a class and spec based on the Covenant that I thought was cool.
Yeah,
so I would do that also.
You chose it based off RP.
Yeah, I did.
But you were punished because of tuning.
Yes, I was. But I ain't mad though, because I already had all the stuff by the time that happened. And then later in the season, they were like, "Okay, you can have everything," and I was like,
well,
"Okay."
Not later in the season. Later in the expansion, it was like
later in the
later.
expansion. Yeah, 2 seasons later. Yeah, so it wasn't that huge of a deal.
Well, that's it. We're at 2 hours again.
Of course we are.
Any last thoughts, Chanee?
Sorry about that.
I'm so excited for player housing. I'm so excited Josh Allen got the MVP for the season.
I didn't even see that.
Yep. And yeah, that's about it. Player housing, yay. Josh Allen, yay. Yeah.
Scrap.
That's it.
I got nothing. I'm gonna go play Minecraft.
Oh my god. Build a barn.
My barn, yeah.
Technique,
Man,
are you going to be back for more episodes?
I'll be around, and if I'm invited, I'll consider it. You know. I love everyone here. I love the community, and I love all the people that were missing me while I was gone. And I hope to God that the houses and player housing and WoW can't like suffer from like tree damage and stuff.
I hope they can.
No, that would be fun. That'd be a great mechanic to rebuild.
I'll tell you how fun it is, Frank. No, man, you don't
Technique,
want that.
you obviously don't want to go out and mine in real life, but you love doing it in game.
I do not.
That's true.
I fucking hate
that. You love your
love
alloys. You were so happy.
Oh,
I didn't mine. I spent real money on that.
Hey,
mining in game? It's a job.
Chanee was say something.
Yeah, S.C.R.A.P, just so you know, if Frank ever says anything about you taking a phone photo and posting it, he did it today.
What?
So
He did?
Yep.
What did you do, Frank?
Where?
Yep. And in
What is
in our Mario Kart Discord, he used
a
screenshot from his phone to post in it.
Oh.
And he got called out for it, and I
He ought to be called out.
That. What are you talking about?
Unbelievable.
if you look in Bplex,
I do have
post a screenshot from your phone about Civ 2K, and Leo says, "A phone screenshot? What the fuck?"
When did I do
Next
that?
time, just take a photo of the fucking Sky Mall catalog.
I'm literally scanning through it right now. I see
The plebs in the plebs.
Yeah, I'm looking through plebs right now.
It's at the very bottom. Like, do you need me to? It says it has your name, 2 question marks.
Hold on. No,
He's
I
like,
didn't take a
cannot see
picture
it.
with my phone. I took a screenshot in my phone. That is
It's the
exactly
same
what we.
thing.
No, it's not.
No, I take a picture with my
Yeah, she
phone.
takes a picture with her phone.
That's different.
I'm putting it on your level, Scrap.
If I take a screenshot on
agree.
my PC, which is what we want Scrap to do, this is
No.
the phone equivalent
It's
of doing that.
so much easier. Just take a picture.
Unbelievable,
with you,
Chanee. You
Scrap.
gaslight me like that. Okay.
I believe you.
My final
He's
thought.
right.
Oh, you know what? All this player housing isn't going to be the biggest thing of 2025. I can't wait till April to see more Switch 2 stuff. We might
You're
have
having
Mario
a 4th
Kart.
baby?
No, God, no. Jesus.
Oh my God.
I'm barely surviving 3.
Fucking cut it off, brother. Don't do it.
Cut it off.
The Mario Kart community, Chanee, we're gonna have Mario Kart 9. Can't wait. Oh my God, so excited. Okay.
I'm concerned because I don't know if I'll be able to get a Switch 2 right away. So
if you've got two spots for drivers in your Mario Kart, I know 2 people that might be interested in more.
The new Mario Kart's supposed to have 24 racers. It's bumping from 12 to 24.
Oh.
Allegedly, we don't know for sure yet. Okay.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Love you all. Thank you.
Night.
That's the end of the episode. We'll see you I guess next week. Maybe Technique will come. Bye.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll
Mayoski.
Have to tune in and find out.